This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome into the Wisconsin Live Desk. It's Haley with you here at 12:30 on your Thursday afternoon, or as I like to call today, Baby Friday. I think it's better than saying Friday Eve, because Friday Eve, you hear Friday first, so your brain thinks it's Friday, and then you get disappointed. Whereas Baby Friday, I think that works better. I feel like we're getting some weird feedback there, Delaney. Is that my mic already? I'll try that again. Maybe that'll be a little bit better there. We do have a lot to get to here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. A lot of the feeds are kind of active right now. Let me show you what we're looking at. This is a Senate subcommittee hearing on the Palisades fire. Obviously, that saw a lot of destruction back in January for the state of California. A lot of homes and structures damaged and lives lost. We did see some charges come down for this fire earlier. I think actually might have been last month now. So they have this hearing going on right now in the Senate, providing the latest update there. Obviously, that's Senator Ron Johnson sitting right there on the screen. So we'll keep our eye on this feed. Also, moments ago on this one, we were hearing from United States Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. She just walked off. This is out of Houston, where they were providing an update on TSA agents and how they've continued to work despite the government shutdown, which has now ended. Of course, the House did pass that funding bill last night, and President Trump did sign it. So the government is now funded once again and back open. The other thing we're watching is right here. This is a Starbucks where you can see workers are protesting for fair wages, and it comes on a pretty popular Starbucks day. It's Red Cup Day, which we'll talk about again in a little bit, but that's some of the things we're kind of watching here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm actually going to send us back here to this hearing where I want to listen just for a few minutes, and then we're going to get an update locally from one of our reporters on how food pantries are looking. Of course, government back open, but the fallout from that shutdown still very present. So let's listen in here for just a few minutes, and then we'll check in with our reporter, Abril.
Of 30. In terms of brush clearance, in the many, many years that I lived surrounded by conservancy land, it was never touched. So you're dealing with a century-old
Think about that.
tinderbox
Yeah.
in a chimney, because it sits in the canyons and goes up. And that's very much what was experienced on these.
Do they not have the fire breaks? Because you have.
To my knowledge, certainly not enough to prevent what happened. And in fact, they're one of the things that is really critical, not only for fire prevention, but also for egress, is to protect citizens by having some way out. One of the things that led to the disaster, and it could have been.
Yeah, I was going to get to evacuation. I mean, you have. So with hurricanes, what we have is we know how early we have to evacuate people, because we know how, the roads, and we have paths for people to get out,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So, but just finish on the forest and stuff. So everybody knew it, and there was just but nothing happened, right?
Look, in 1966, some of the residents here may have been around for the Bel Air fire. The number one reason why that was a terrible fire, and the lesson that was supposed to have been learned from that is not only to have better fire breaks, but also to have gravity-driven water sources.
Right.
And of course, the fact that the San Ynez Reservoir was under maintenance is just that it was there to serve that purpose. It was built in the wake of that fire.
So it was gross incompetence and gross negligence. That's what drove this, right?
100%.
I mean, let's not mince words. I mean, gross incompetence, gross negligence.
And
Complacency.
you had firefighters on site on January 2nd working to put the fire out, keep the smoldering fire the day after the January 1st fire, the Lockman fire. And you had one of their commanders say, "All right, pack it up, let's go."
Why?
And the firefighter, there's text messages. The LA Times reported on this just recently, that they were ordered by a battalion chief to pack it up. And on January 7th, the Station 69 was not in the Palisades on the morning of January 7th. It was in Hollywood. And the Station 69 and Station 23 are, years ago I was told by a fire captain, they stay in the Palisades specifically for this type of event. and they were sent, our engine was sent out of our town.
All right, if you're just joining us, we've been listening in here on this Senate subcommittee that's investigating the Palisades fire. Again, Senator Ron Johnson from right here in Wisconsin on this panel. You heard him call the response just gross negligence is what he said. He would describe it, of course. This was a deadly fire, 12 lives lost and more than 6,000 structures destroyed. And they're kind of questioning why it took so long to get it under control and how it was able to grow from the earlier fire that they thought they had extinguished. Again, Jonathan Rinderknecht, a 29-year-old, was arrested last month and charged with starting the Palisades fire. So, of course, we'll also continue to follow that as the Senate subcommittee here is investigating that fire and the response to it. Of course, Senate back at work right there after, earlier this week passing the funding bill to reopen the government. We saw the House pass it last night, and we saw President Trump sign it. So government is back open after the longest government shutdown actually in U.S. history. We saw a lot of concerns come out of it, especially when it comes to SNAP and, getting food on the table for those who rely on those government resources. We know even that the government is now back open, the fallout and the need for food is still very much present. We're actually going to go to our very own Abril Preciado. She has been reporting today on this exact issue, joining us right now from Kinship Cafe. Abril, what have you learned so far today?
Hey guys, how's it going? So yes, you guys may wonder, what is she doing at a cafe right now? Well, this is actually part of the Kinship, part of Kinship. So they have this cafe that is part of their food distribution center. This is just a different aspect that they also have as part of their organization that they have. But the reason why we're here is because we're talking to them about what they have been seeing at their food distribution center, or as others may know as their food pantry that many have been going to right now during this time when people have been needing, and there has been high need of food assistance right now. And so before we get started, I just wanted to kind of emphasize we have been at 2 other locations today. We've been at other food pantries across the area, kind of checking out how things are feeling, especially now that the government has reopened, and a lot of people have also started seeing their SNAP benefits kind of kicking in. So we kind of got a sense of what we're seeing in the area, still movement, but from what we were told from other food pantries is that the need is still there, but it has decreased slightly. So right here, we're actually going to go on and speak with Liz, who actually works with Kinship, and she'll be able to tell us a little bit more about what they have been seeing in the past couple of weeks at their food distribution center. So thank you so much, Liz, for joining us here.
Yeah, for sure.
So can you tell us how has it been the last couple of weeks at your local food pantry? Well, I mean, at your food distribution center.
Yeah, at Kinship, at the beginning of November, after with the SNAP scare and everything, we were giving out over 200 numbers and served almost 200 families for 3 or 4 distributions, so we're open twice a week. So those first 2 weeks were pretty intense and a lot of families, and we're used to seeing a little less than 150, so pretty big influx during that time.
And right now, obviously the need was really much there. We know that the city did a citywide food drive. Did you guys receive any of those foods as well, or food donations that came from that?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the citywide drive, but I know community-wide, a bunch of people are asking how can I help right now, and we received a ton of food drives and food donations and also financial donations, so we can provide perishable goods milk, eggs, produce, and high-demand items for families in need.
And also, now that I guess many people's SNAP benefits have started to kick in again, and now that the government shutdown is over, have you guys seen a decrease, or what have you guys seen in the last couple of days? I know you mentioned something about kind of starting seeing instant movements, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was the day after Governor Evers pushed out the SNAP benefits, that next Saturday we were open. It was mellow compared to the past couple of weeks, and it was really nice to just see people the vibe was totally relaxed, and people were happy, relaxed, we're coming to get food, but it's not so intense of a need. So
because how would you describe what you guys were seeing?
Well, I mean, it's intense, right? Just when you don't know where your next meal is coming from, or where your food's coming from, and this is could be your only source of food, if you don't have SNAP benefits and you don't know where other pantries are. So we were working a lot to we had the food to provide to people, and also just connecting them with other pantries and other resources to get the things they need.
And something remarkable that Liz was also telling me was the fact that, like, obviously, you know, with the demand on food and people that needed the assistance, you know, they received a lot of food donations. So what happens to the food that you guys received? I know you mentioned that it comes at a time when, you know, the holidays are approaching. How much do you guys have of it now?
Yeah, so we have a lot of food. Like all our carts are like popping, you know, like so we're not just like giving out like canned green beans. Like we got pasta sauce on our vegetable cart. Like our mixed items cart looks great, like for the holidays. So people have a wide selection of things that they might need for different holiday meals, or just, you know, like make this time a little special in terms of like what they're eating. So yeah, like all the food that we've gotten and like the financial support, like it'll continue to help us like provide like, you know, an even better variety and like quality of food for folks in the future.
Because at the end of the day, it's like how many of us have been following. It's still the prices of food are still high, right? And I'm sure people are still feeling that impact, let alone.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like as you said, like we're getting into the holiday season and everything, so we probably will see like, you know, another uptick in numbers, which is like just kind of how like the year goes. And we're like, you know, ready for it. Like I said, like we've got like the food and like the community behind us who are like ready to help and get people like what they need, and like especially like you said, what they want with just like quality and like choice of food products at our center.
You know, for organizations like Kinship and maybe even others, do you think there was like a learning curve from this, something that was learned? I know we talked a little bit about resources and kind of being more resourceful, or trying to make everything work with whatever we have, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was just like, oh, like, you know, like literally went to like places just to buy produce, and like for people to have like, for us to have the money to do that. We were very blessed like as a food center to be able to like purchase what we need for our community. So we thankfully like never saw a like huge lack, you know, like the egg crisis earlier in the year, like where we had like no one had eggs, like, you know, there like we didn't see a lack of supply. It was just like, oh, like we have like the means to like continue to provide people with like fresh milk, fresh eggs, and like this abundant produce like throughout this time.
Haley, I don't know if you have any other questions that you would like for me to ask.
Yeah, absolutely, Abril. Obviously, it's great to hear that they feel that people have been able to get more food and that the need has calmed down a little bit since the SNAP funding did kick in. But if anybody's watching and they would still like to help out, I mean, could we still donate anything? And is there anything specifically that they're in need of?
So she's asking if there's any other way that maybe people could continue to donate, and if you could provide us with any of that information, and also maybe what kind of products are you guys looking for donating?
Yeah, absolutely. Like obviously donate to your local food pantry. Our website's kinshipmke.org. You're welcome to make a financial donation on that page. We also have a like nice website of just like things that like we love to see come in, like non-perishable goods, essentially like anything that you would buy for yourself at the grocery store. Like we really love for it at the center, like in terms of non-perishables. So like, you know, just like whole grain like pastas and like just like nicer things, like, yeah, not to bash those can of green beans, but like we don't need any more cans of green beans, but like just like nicer vegetables like pasta sauces, or like, you know, nice cereals, or yeah, essentially what you want to feed to your good proteins, like canned proteins, nice tuna, chicken, salmon in cans and such. Yeah, essentially anything you'd want to like feed to your family, we would love on our shelves to feed to our families.
Absolutely. And then you told me, please correct me if I'm wrong, but you told me you're 22 years old, right?
24.
24.
Yeah.
Oh, 24.
Yeah.
Well, you're still young though. But actually, I wanted to ask you, how long have you been doing this? And for you, what does it mean to, you know, take part of something greater? Because obviously through this, I'm sure you also saw many people were in need. And, you know, what did that mean for you to even just take part of something?
Yeah, I've been here for 2.5 years, and this is actually, I started as an intern here. They have a mission internship program, and this is my first full-time big girl job, and it's been a really big blessing to be a part of this community and to like, you know, like just respond to this need, especially like in this time now and like just our like food climate, like to be able to be a response. But also like at Kinship, we say like everyone gives, everyone receives. So like I gain so much from this community. Like these people are like family. Like, you know, anyone who comes to the doors, like they're like my kin. So I'm really blessed to be a part of this community.
What were you hearing from folks that were coming in that were in need of help during this time? I know many of them, you know, as we talked about, and as many of us know, you know, they didn't have enough to feed their families and whatnot. What are some of the stories that you would hear?
Yeah, especially like without SNAP benefits, people are like, oh, like, you guys are like one of our only sources of food now, which was intense. And we also serve a hot meal, dinner on Tuesdays, breakfast on Saturdays. And folks were like, yeah, I'm coming in both distributions with my like whole family. We're all gonna, like eat here. It's one less meal to like provide for the family. And it's also a really good meal. Like we have an amazing like team of chefs that are like cooking up those meals. So it was just a lot more people just coming like for that dinner in addition to like the food like that you take home grocery wise.
So obviously it was something that was, I'm sure, fulfilling for you and staff and even volunteers, but at the same time, even more so helping out these families, because that meal or that bag of food that they took home with them meant a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it was also just like the reassurance of like, hey, we got you. Like no matter where this goes, like no matter like how long like benefits were delayed, or like no matter what the world throws at us, like we're here and we got you. Like like our backstock is good. Like I said, people have come in with like very generous donations. Like so, no matter what the world throws at us, like we got you. So that's a really big blessing for us to be able to like be that source of like security in an unsecure time.
And I feel like that is something that we saw even just today, let alone just going around to the different food pantries that we visited in the neighborhood here in Milwaukee. The fact that like many people feel like that support and they're still going to it, regardless of what's happening, people still kind of see it like, okay, this is a place where I can go and get the help that I need.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like a lot of people who didn't know about us that were like, our neighbors down the street who maybe have never been to a pantry before, like coming through our doors and receiving help that like maybe they didn't need in the past, but now they know about us. They can tell like their friends and family about us, and also just know that like, yeah, when times get tough, like we're here for you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Liz. Hey, Haley, I don't know if there's any more questions that you want to ask or anything, but yeah, this is pretty much what we've been seeing. Once again, as I explained, this would be the third location that we visited today. We went to two others. We went to House of Peace as well, where they were also still very busy, despite the fact that they said that, like, they have seen a slight decrease right now since SNAP benefits started kicking in, but they're still busy. They say that they're still utilizing all that food that they received to continue to feed families, to continue to provide these food, because once again, the prices of food have not gone down. People are still feeling that impact, so let alone, that's pretty much what they're continuing to do. And obviously this is part of our news gathering. We're still news gathering, and we're preparing a full report later on tonight.
So my only question that's left for you, Abril, is when will your report be airing so that we can catch it here on Fox Local?
Yes, of course. So this will be airing tonight at 5 p.m. So I'll have all the details there, and I'll show you guys what we saw and also ways that you guys can help. Because once again, food is still needed, and people are still needing the food. These food pantries, these organizations still need your help. So definitely, just to let you guys know how you guys can continue to help and contribute to helping keep all of our families fed, especially during these tough times, and now more so during the holidays.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we will keep our eyes out for your full report. Thanks so much for joining us in the meantime here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, Abril.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
That was our very own Abril Preciado reporting there from a food distribution center. Beautiful message, really, of how the community stepped up in a time of need. And it is good to hear that those food pantries are having a little bit of relief since those SNAP benefits kicked back in. But again, they could still use donations. Thanksgiving is 2 weeks from today. Really helpful tidbit right there that if you would like to donate, they said they really don't need a ton of those canned foods anymore. They need more of the protein. And I love the way she said, whatever you would want to eat is what these families want to eat. So keep that in mind when you're maybe picking out a few items to donate. A lot of helpful information right there. As again, government shutdown is officially over, back open now after the longest in the country's history at 43 days, if I'm doing my math correctly. Well, hey, we're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We've got a whole lot more in store for you these next couple of hours, so make sure and stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk this Thursday afternoon. Time check for you here in Milwaukee is 12:51. If you're anywhere in the central time zone tuning in, it's also 12:51 for you. Just after lunchtime. Delaney liked that one. She's smiling. She's going to make me laugh. Sometimes I have to not look at Delaney, you guys, because she puts a smile on my face. I was going to show you what our weather camera has up right now. I wasn't sure what it was going to be. It's the Grand Canyon, obviously, out in Arizona. So I was going to bring in Delaney. Delaney, have you ever been to the Grand Canyon?
I have not. Have you?
I actually have been to the Grand Canyon many, many, many years ago. I think I was in third grade. But my favorite part was we ended up doing a pink Jeep tour, which is really fun. You get in these pink Jeeps. They have like no doors, no ceiling, and they go around and they kind of show you some of the structures and the rocks. How they'll be like, okay, so if you look at this one, people call it Snoopy, and like you can see, I could not see any of the things, but the poor driver was trying so hard, like really trying to, so eventually I just started lying. Like, oh my gosh, I see it. Never saw anything in the rocks.
You know, I don't think I would be able to see it either, but the pink Jeep tour sounds fun.
It is. It was. If I ever go back, I would absolutely recommend it and do it again. Although, another funny story, and please don't judge me for this, I was so young. I think I would have been 9. We went, we flew into Arizona. I was so excited to see the Grand Canyon. We go the day we were going. I lean over the railing and I go, where is it? I thought it was Grand Canyon. I thought I was looking for like a giant cannon. Not canyon, but it is beautiful.
You were young. It happens.
Yes, absolutely. A good summer vacation would maybe be going to the Grand Canyon. Another good summer activity that we've been talking about kind of sporadically here on the Wisconsin Live Desk as we're learning what's coming, Summerfest, and we have our latest artist, Delaney, Russell Dickerson. This was announced just a couple days ago. We wanted to bring it to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk because pre-sale started today, which means it should probably go on sale to the public tomorrow. He's going to be performing, on the Miller Lite stage Saturday, June 27th. He joins already a pretty good lineup. I'm so excited about this, Russell. Russell. I'm talking to Russell now, Delaney. I'm so excited, Delaney, for Russell Dickerson. I think he probably has my song of, honestly, all of 2025. It's called Happen to Me, but I don't think you've heard it, right? Is that what you said?
I have not.
You should really look it up. It's really fun. The chorus talks about, girls just want to have fun, play on Cyndi Lauper. But I have been genuinely jamming to it since it came out. I remember dancing to the song on my birthday, which is back in March, and I'm still in November here listening to it. And they just came out with a new version. Guess who they collaborated with?
Who?
Who would excite me? It's not a trick question.
The Jonas Brothers.
The Jonas Brothers are now on a version of Happen to Me. I was like, this is the best thing to happen to me.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, so totally recommend getting tickets to see Russell Dickerson. He's a country artist. He's got a couple other really popular songs out there. He's kind of that pop country, which is a sweet spot to me.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Okay, so we have to think about the lineup. It's getting really long now, so I don't know if I can remember all of them. I know we've got Ed Sheeran, Russell Dickerson, Louis Tomlinson, Post Malone, Garth Brooks. Who are you really excited to see?
I think I'm excited to see Post Malone.
That's what you're most excited for now?
I think so.
Are you a big Post Malone fan?
I do like his music.
What do you call those? Are you like a postie?
I think that's what they call him.
Is that?
I don't really know.
I'm
not that big into him, but
okay.
I like his music a lot. I don't know if I'm in his fan base like that.
Let's Post Malone fan base name. Let's see. The Posties. Crushed that. I think I'm most excited for, oh goodness. Okay, so I've seen Ed Sheeran before. I love Ed Sheeran, but because I've seen him, I'm not going to include him on this, but I think it's such a good get for Summerfest. I think I'm excited for either Louis Tomlinson, because we've talked about it. I'm a huge One Direction fan, or genuinely Russell Dickerson, because again, I'm not lying, that's probably my song of 2025. So the idea that I could hear it live is exciting.
Yeah, those are both good options.
And then I have to ask the follow-up question, Delaney, which is we're still waiting on some more announcements. Who do you hope is coming to Summerfest? She's thinking.
It's a good one. I don't know. I think I would love to see Sabrina Carpenter. I don't think she'd come to Summerfest, but
You know, you say that, but I think that Ed Sheeran sells out like
that is true.
footballs,
Yeah.
stadiums.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, it's a stadium,
Stadiums,
not an
yeah.
arena. He's going to Soldier Field in Chicago. Sabrina Carpenter, very popular, but she's still like Madison Square Garden level. I mean, granted, 5 nights in a row at Madison Square Garden. So you never know.
That's true. You never know.
I think it would cost a pretty penny to get her here, but
Oh,
I'm
for
prepared.
sure.
I'm prepared to spend that pretty penny.
Yeah, definitely.
Although maybe not, because the penny is now no longer being made. Pretty nickel? Is that the new saying?
I think so. It might have to be.
Oh my goodness. All right, so we'll keep. Jonas Brothers for me, even though I've just saw them and I'm seeing them again next month.
You know, they're always fun to see.
Yeah,
It's always fun to see your favorite artists.
or a One Direction reunion, which I don't see happening.
Don't see that happening, but it would be fun.
Right? I think so. Have you started listening to Sabrina Carpenter's Christmas album?
Not yet.
When do you start listening to Christmas music?
I wait till after Thanksgiving.
Do you also wait to decorate till after Thanksgiving?
Decorate before Thanksgiving,
Okay.
but Christmas music after.
Got it.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. I have all my Christmas decorations out of storage. They all need to still go up, but I've absolutely started already listening to Christmas music. I have 2 songs by the Jonas Brothers that I love, but this year we're adding a third because their Christmas movie comes out tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
We'll have to talk about it tomorrow on the Wisconsin
Yeah,
Live Desk because I'm
we
so
will.
excited.
That'll be a good one.
I think that will be a good one. Okay, one last reminder. Summerfest just announced this earlier this week. Russell Dickerson coming next summer, Saturday, June 27th. Again, tickets should go on sale to the public if you missed that early access. I will leave tomorrow. So if you're a huge country fan, if you love Happen to Me the way I love Happen to Me, go and grab those tickets. Sure to be a very good time. I'm still excited for my very first Summerfest. Obviously, I moved here in August, so I just missed it this year. I can't wait to celebrate next year and see this kind of Milwaukee staple of events. So can't wait to go and check that one out. All right, hey, we're going to take another quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and then we're going to talk theta, a little murder mystery, a little whodunit. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. Hey, Josie, can you hear me?
Hey, yes, I can.
Yay. Okay, awesome. We are in break. We can hear you. Can't see you because your camera's not on, but I'm sure you'll get there. There we are. Perfect. So yeah, I'll just do a quick intro when we get back from the break, and then we'll bring you in. Can't wait to chat.
Cool. Should I just keep my camera on?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Great.
Awesome. All right, I will get back to you in just a few minutes here.
Okay.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back into the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is now 1:02 this Thursday afternoon. It's almost Thanksgiving, which means Christmas is right around the corner. And I feel like there's no good holiday without a little murder mystery. We're going to go ahead and bring in Josie. She is joining us with the Milwaukee Chamber Theater. I'm so excited to hear more about the show, Josie. Tell us about Murder Girl.
Hi, Haley. Hi, Delaney. How's it going?
It's going well. It's a good Thursday for us so far.
Yeah, I mean, we're cooking up Murder Girl downstairs in the studio theater. Murder Girl is set in a Northwoods supper club in Wisconsin. So a place that I feel like a lot of Wisconsinites can recognize. The set is incredible. So when people walk in, I think if you're a Wisconsinite, you'll be able to tell that this is a place you've been before. And it takes place a few days before Christmas. The employees at Marty's Supper Club it's sort of a chosen family, but there are two siblings. And this cast of 5 characters find out that a body has been found of a waitress who previously worked at Marty's, the supper club. And through that discovery, suspicions start to fly, fingers start pointing, and there's a lot of sort of intense both blood family and chosen family drama. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by this show. I know tomorrow will be opening night. How do you hope that the audience reacts? Do you think there's going to be some gasps? So there are some moments that they're going to be surprised?
If we do it right, there's definitely some gasp-worthy moments. I think there's a lot of incredible physical comedy as well. We've got some incredible Milwaukee greats on the stage doing some hilarious work. So I really want people to leave with a sense of, it seems weird saying this about a murder mystery, but I want people to leave with the overwhelming sort of feeling of love and the love you have for the people that are close to you, the people you'd kill for, and what you would do to protect those relationships. I think there's a lot of love in the play. There's a lot of humor. So I hope people have a good laugh too. And I also, it's a new work, so it sort of feels it's so Wisconsin that I want people to leave feeling like they, have a little piece of home, and that they saw themselves on stage in some way, or someone they know, someone they work with.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We're taking a look right now at some rehearsal footage from a table read with the cast, how is the cast kind of getting on? I'm sure they're best buddies by this point.
You can't work on a show like this and not bond. There's just so many moving parts and so many ridiculous moments. Colleen and Carrie Hitchcock, Colleen Madden and Carrie Hitchcock, who play our pair of Charlottes. Both waitresses are named Charlotte. So they are veterans of the Milwaukee stages, folks who've been to Milwaukee theaters. Even if you've been to a Milwaukee theater in passing over like the past 30 years, you would have seen these ladies. And so watching them work together, both like the scripted comedy on stage and all the comedy that they get into just in between scenes or backstage is incredible. And our cast, Brie Below, who's playing Leanne, and Matt Bowdren, who's playing Eric, they play the two siblings. And I can't speak for them, but I do feel like they've sort of formed some sort of familiar bond, the way you sort of tease your siblings. I've definitely seen some of that. And Joe Lino, who plays Ted, the sort of mysterious cook character, he both sort of like keeps the peace off stage and on stage. He keeps everyone in line, but he's got a lot of great humor too. So I think they've been having a great time. And working on a new play, it really takes a special group of actors who can sort of roll with the punches and get new pages with new script daily. So it's a crazy little circus, and we love it.
I'd say it's always exciting when it's kind of a premiere because it's brand new, it's never been worked on, you can make it your own, but I'm sure there's some trial and error portions as well as you figure things out. This opens tomorrow, but there's already such a demand. We see it in the poster behind you. You had to extend the run. What a cool feeling is that?
We did. Oh my gosh, it's incredible. It's sort of unprecedented that we have about 3 weeks of the run already sold out. So it's super exciting. We're really excited to message that. Yeah, people really love murder, I guess. Joe Lino said in another interview, he said the holidays and murder go hand in hand. So sounds like we've got a winner on our hands. And the cast too, beyond even just the story that Heidi's written, I think people are excited to see these actors do this story.
I'm sure there's some people watching going, okay, murder might be a bit of a serious topic. So who would be the best audience member? Would you recommend bringing the kiddos, leaving them at home? Walk me through that.
Yeah, I would say, without giving too much away, there's not too much graphic language about the murder, the suspected murder. But I would probably say 14 and up is a good sort of age limit. If your kid is, a little bit more mature and you don't mind hearing some F-bombs dropped in the theater, then, maybe 12 plus. But I think the best safe baseline is 14 plus.
And I'm wondering if maybe for some people this might be their first time coming out to the Milwaukee Chamber Theater. Tell us a little bit about your company.
Yeah, so we're based in the Third Ward, and we do 5 shows a year. We're a professional theater. We're based in the Broadway Theater Center, which also houses Skylight Music Theater. If you've ever, been to a musical, go see Joseph over there. They're opening at the same time, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. We really like to focus on local actors, local designers and creatives, and local stories like we're doing with this. This is a Wisconsin playwright, Heidi Armbruster, who's well known in the community. She always refers to it as sort of farm-to-table theater, local produce. So Milwaukee Chamber Theater's, I think, heart center is just really focusing on local art, people behind the scenes, people on stage, and the stories we're telling. So that's a little bit about us.
Yeah, so to your point of what you were saying earlier, I do think there's something fun about going to the theater and feeling like you recognize the spots or you're in on the jokes because it's all about Wisconsin and you get it because you live here and you love it. So that's so exciting. Without giving too much away about Murder Girl, is there a specific part in the show that you're just really excited for audiences to get to go and see?
Yes. Oh my gosh. There's a moment like truly right at the beginning that I think sets the tone really well. Little creepy, some cool physical gags. So I'm excited to see how audiences sort of settle in once they see that. And then there's also because it's such an ensemble cast show, and all these actors playing off each other, riffing off each other's comedy. There's a big sort of group scene right before the end that I'm so excited to see audiences react to.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like there's nothing better when you have been working so hard on a show than to finally get to fill the seats and have crowds respond to the jokes the way you were hoping to or gasp at the murder the way you were hoping to. So congratulations on opening weekend and already, I'm going to call it a successful run because you had to extend it. So how exciting for you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm excited. Me and Brent Hazelton, the artistic director and also the director of this performance, we always sort of sit in what we call the jump seats right below the booth on our previews and opening nights. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll be creeping in the back and listening to everyone's reactions. And thank you for the congratulations.
Yeah, of course. And it runs till December 7th, so we have time to see it.
Yes.
All right, we'll go get our tickets. We'll put all that information on Fox Local. But Josie, thanks so much for joining us today on Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a great rest of your Thursday. How fun. Murder Girl, again, that's opening tomorrow. You might not see the best ticket availability those first few weeks because it did have such a high demand. So just go and check and see what's available. Again, it's running until December 7th. But I love a good whodunit. I love a good murder mystery. And I love that this one is set at a Northwood Supper Club. That's going to be amazing. Go out and see it. Make a whole little day in the Third Ward. It's a great idea, I think. All right, hey, we're going to take another break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. When we come back, I think it's time for Delaney and I to do a little question of the day. Kind of take into the skies. That's your hint. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk, where we're always monitoring live feeds both here in Wisconsin and around the country. I know I talked about question of the day, but instead we want to actually take you out to the White House because this just began moments ago. We watched the president and the first lady walk in. Trump will be signing an executive order momentarily to support foster care in the U.S. So let's listen in and learn about this more together.
To establish an impactful platform with an important mission to provide individuals from the foster care community the ability to secure an entry-level job position and, in turn, financial independence. Fostering the Future, a Be Best initiative, provides individuals from the foster care community with technology-based scholarships to attend colleges and universities throughout America. Fostering the Future sets these individuals on their career paths, but more significantly, it equips each scholarship recipient with a fundamental foundation of knowledge that will endure throughout their lifetimes. Permanency for those who embody the fleeting. I applaud the American universities that have joined my mission, institutions like Vanderbilt University, University of Miami, and Villanova University. Following graduation, scholarship recipients from my program are prepared to enter the workforce and ultimately become leading executives. Predictably, they will manage thousands of employees and generate significant value for American communities through job creation, access to healthcare, food security, and other societal benefits. This executive order, fostering the future for American children and families, gives me tremendous pride. It is both empathetic and strategic. It will certainly be impactful. It aims to establish a comprehensive network connecting federal departments and agencies, private sector's businesses, higher learning institutions, and charitable organizations. This will create new educational and employment opportunities countrywide. Our faith-based organizations will continue playing a vital and consequential role. My hope, of course, is that this level of coordinated collaboration will sustain. But today, I call on leadership from these various organizations, including the private sector, to join my effort, rise above the ease of inaction. I predict this small spark today will ignite a profound and lasting nationwide movement. Our united resolve will foster a thriving future filled with compassion and innovation. Together, we will illuminate the pathway for today's foster children to become tomorrow's builders. And tomorrow's builders will foster the future of America's legacy. Thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce my husband, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
I think it's very good, especially for someone that speaks 5 languages at least. I think that's pretty amazing. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Yes, well, thank you, Melania. And our country is truly blessed to have this magnificent and very caring First Lady. They love her. Every time I get up and make a speech, they say, "We want our first lady." I said, "What the hell? I'm not good enough? I'm not." But thank you very much. Great job. And it's great the work you do in so many ways. This afternoon, I'm delighted to sign a historic executive order building on the Fostering the Future initiative to make America's foster care system better, fairer, and more effective than ever before. And it's been effective, but it's moving in a very strong direction. All of this has been made possible by Melania's incredible devotion to America's youth. Spends a lot of time on it and loves it, and along with our great Usha, you spend so much time, and what a combination. First lady, second lady, what a combination. Thank you. They do a great job, the two of them. They're amazing women. I want to thank Vice President J.D. Vance and Usha, thank you very much. Vice President, stand up, Vice President. And he did a big thing today. He's going to be on television tonight with the legendary Sean Hannity, so everybody has to watch. I'm sure CNN loves this advertisement, but he will be. I heard it was a great interview. And Secretary Scott Bessent. Scott, thank you very much. An extremely non-controversial secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. But he's right. And Scott Turner, thank you very much. Doing a great job at HELP. And thanks as well to Senator John Husted and Representatives Jason Smith, Darren LaHood, Zach Nunn, and David Schweikert. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, fellas. Great group. We're also joined by countless distinguished leaders in the child welfare advocacy, ministry, and charitable foundations, as well as so many wonderful young people who have experienced foster care and used their voices to champion needed reforms. And I want to thank everybody for being here. It's an amazing day at the White House. Thank you very much. And right behind me, by the way, in about 2 years from now, we'll use a much bigger room because we had to turn away a lot of people. And it'll be right here. This will be the entrance. That's a knockout paddle. It's called the knockout. It looks pretty nice right now, but it's going to look a lot better in a little while. And we're going to go from this room into a room that seats a few more people, and it's going to be beautiful. But I just noticed I happen to be standing here, Peter, and I thought I might as well get you a shot right now. A nice, beautiful shot at the future entrance to something that's really become very popular, the ballroom. They've wanted it for 150 years, and they're getting it, and they're getting the best. It'll be the best anywhere in the world. Each year, more than 15,000 young people age out of the foster care system, and unfortunately, too many struggle to become self-sufficient. The order I will sign in a few moments will provide vital new resources to help young people transition out of the foster care system and live a very happy and a very successful life. Very, very successful. With this order, I'm directing the heads of the key federal departments and agencies to establish a Fostering the Future program in coordination with our wonderful First Lady's office. They're coordinating, and they've already been coordinating for quite some time, and I think I hear it's going really well. You're going to have some, when she gets involved in things, it works, I can tell you that. Under this major new initiative, great American companies and institutions will be signing a pledge to invest in teaching, training, and mentoring America's youth who are transitioning out of the foster care system. This will help provide jobs, education, and personal development opportunities to fantastic young people who truly need and deserve them, and they're going to get them. A terrific example of the impact these programs can have is Eric Alvarez from Omaha, Nebraska, who is with us today. Where's Eric? Where is he? Stand up. Good-looking guy. Good-looking guy. Eric and his siblings were placed in foster care for a year when he was 9. He entered the child welfare system again when he was 15, and today he credits a mentoring and mentorship and work experience program for foster youth with helping him to finish high school and start his adult life. And he did really well in high school, by the way, really a great student. but he starts life on the right foot, right? Wouldn't you say? I mean, I think you better say yes, otherwise I'm in big trouble. Otherwise, I'm all by myself up here, Eric. That would be... I hear you're doing incredibly. Now, after graduating from the University of Nebraska and interning for Congressman Don Bacon, Eric is pursuing a master's degree at the George Washington University, and he is a cadet in the Air Force ROTC who will be commissioned as an officer upon graduation. And Eric, I just want to say, great job. You've really been outstanding, and I think that's probably why you were chosen out of so many people. You've done a fantastic job. Congratulations. The new initiative we're establishing will also create an opportunity for foster youth to take full responsibility of the federal tax credit scholarship program established by the One Big Beautiful Bill. So many things, tax cuts and regulation cuts, so many things. The biggest ever passed in the history of our country. I call it the Great Big Beautiful Bill. I changed the name a little bit to make it even more sublime. But it is, there's so many things in there for everybody. We had a choice. We could have done it in 9 different bills or try for the one, and everybody said, no, let's do it in 9. It'll be easier. Actually, it wouldn't have gotten done. And JD and I and Scott and all of us got together, and we said, let's give it a shot, and we got it passed. And it was an amazing thing, but it's going to help a lot of people. There's never been anything like it. As in one bill, there's never been anything close. And when you see what's going on with the Democrats, we're lucky we got it passed because we don't have to do anything. All we have to do is implement it now, and we'll be implementing it all over the place. If you think about it, no tax on tips, right? No tax on Social Security, all of the different things, no tax on overtime. You get deductions if you buy a car. You take an interest rate deduction, an interest deduction against your income tax. It's never happened. Nothing like this has really ever been approved to this extent. And so it is one great, big, beautiful bill. But using the tax credit will expand occupational training, education, and financial literacy programs for the foster youth and make it possible for more of them to attend the school of their choice. Choice is a great word for a lot of reasons, but it's a great thing with education. And we'll also create the new Fostering the Future online platform to help young people find the access and really get great housing, very, very important and beautiful housing, health care, and other resources available to foster youth and those transitioning out of foster care. And we think it's going to happen with many, many people, many more than you have right now. Under the Trump administration, we believe that every American child deserves a safe and loving home, and we're determined to support the amazing families who help make that happen. And we have some of those families in the room today, and I just want to thank you all for being in the White House. There is no place like this, and we want to thank you very much for being here. Great families. Thank you very much. Faith-based, thank you. Faith-based nonprofits are the nation's most trusted institutions, interacting with the foster care system and practicing Christians and more. Think of this, more than twice as likely foster care. They'll adopt the general population. They adopt to it so easily. When they get out, they adopt to it just like it's becomes second nature. It's amazing. Yet radical left policies in states nationwide make it much harder, not easier, for those families to open up their homes. But we're working on that. We're dealing with the radical left. It's not easy, but we're winning, and we're winning big. That's why with the order that we're doing today, we're taking the ridiculous woke policies that discriminate against Christians and families of faith. As president, I will always stand by us. We will stand by our country, and we will stand for religious liberty. So important. We stand for religious liberty. The Bible tells us, thank you. Thank you. The Bible tells us that one of the measures of any society is how it cares for vulnerable children and orphans. So important, and it's so big in the Bible. So as we make America great again, we are going to protect American children in foster care, and we're going to ensure that they will never, ever be forgotten. These children will never be forgotten, and they're going to grow up to be unbelievable, strong, smart, wealthy, productive citizens. So once more, I want to thank Melania for the great job she does not here only just as First Lady. She's a great First Lady. And I want to thank you very much, honey, and the Foster families and leaders here today. You're very special people, and we're going to work together, and we're going to have some absolutely incredible results. Thank you all for being here. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, if you're just joining us, we were listening to President Trump talk about this executive order that he is now going to be signing. You can see a lot of important people standing behind him, and his wife, Melania, the First Lady, sitting right next to him as he signs this executive order.
That's the First Lady to sign this. Okay.
There you go. You just saw the president there sign that executive order. You can see him now showing it off to some of the people standing behind him. And he also had his wife, again, Melania Trump, sign it as well, really crediting her as a big force and push behind this executive order that's going to support the foster care system here in the United States. So glad we could find that and bring that to you here live on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Otherwise, we are going to take another quick break while we can. We'll keep monitoring the feeds, but otherwise we still have question of the day. It is in the queue. We're ready to get to it. Another thing we're watching on the feeds, a potential rocket launch from the Blue Origin. We'll keep our eye on this feed as well. It should be going off in about 14 minutes. So we'll bring you that and question of the day on the other side of the break. Stick with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to to the Wisconsin Live Desk this Thursday afternoon. Time check for you, 1:34. We were just on the feed watching an executive order be signed right here at the White House by President Trump and the First Lady, and you can see some of the other kind of leaders there walking out. Of course, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. right there. We're also keeping our eye on this feed, which would be the New Glenn Mission NG-2, this rocket launch from the Blue Origin, which is scheduled to, I think, start in about 11 minutes. Obviously, rocket launches, a lot of things have to go correctly and accurately for them to actually happen. So we are keeping our eye on this feed. It does look like the entire mission is about an hour and 42 minutes. I was reading a little bit about it. But yeah, it's going to go do a little Earth flyby, it sounds like. I'll read a little bit more about this before it starts, but we are keeping our eye on that rocket launch, and we'll see if we can catch it and bring it to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. But otherwise, I think it's time for Question of the Day. Time to bring in our producer, Delaney. It is National Dream Destination Day. We should have planned better, and we should have gotten our destinations in the weather camera.
We should have.
But what is your dream destination if you could go anywhere?
I feel like it changes so much.
I know.
But I would really like to go to Greece.
Okay, anywhere specifically?
Maybe Mykonos.
Mykonos. Yeah, I think going to the Med would be really nice. I think that Greece sounds like the perfect trip because if you love history, there's so much like history there you can learn about. If you love like shopping and good food, you've totally got that in Greece. If you just want to like relax and go to the beach or the pool, you've got that. It's kind of like everything you'd want is right there.
Yeah, they've got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I love that for you. I was trying to think for myself because there's so many places that I want to go that it's like hard to narrow it down to one. We've talked about this before on the Live Desk. I have been to Asia. I've never been to Europe. And for the longest time, I've wanted to go to London. But I think if I could go anywhere. Oh, Delaney,
it's so hard to decide.
Can I just name a lot?
You can name a few. Do like top 3.
Okay. I think right now my top 3. London is just going to happen on any of these trips, so I'm not going to have to mention it. My way of getting 4. I want to go to Champagne, France, which obviously is also Paris, but I really want to have a glass of champagne in Champagne, because that's where champagne has to come from, or it's not champagne. I love bubbles, so I think that'd be really fun. I think it would also be really fun to go to Amsterdam.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that'd be beautiful. And then I think I want to go to Edinburgh in Scotland, which I was talking to with somebody, and he went, oh, Edinburgh. And I don't think I'm wrong. I think Americans call it Edinburgh, right?
I think so.
I think that man was just trying to be like, oh, I've just been there. Like, you know,
yeah. I've been there.
Yeah. But I think Edinburgh is pronounced like Edinburgh. Hold on. Edinburgh pronunciation. This is why you guys watch the Wisconsin Live Desk. We do things in real time for you. Edinburgh. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. It says avoid pronouncing it as Edinburgh. But it also says, or Edinburgh. So he was wrong. It's Edinburgh. Edinburgh.
Good to know.
I'm going to go to Edinburgh. But I just think it'd be fun to go to like any and all of it. I just need to go to Europe. I do think in a year or so I have a milestone birthday. And I think I'm going to go to Europe for that.
Not 30 yet. That could be fun.
Delaney, I was trying not to say my age and you're calling me out for it. I'm not 29 yet either. I have time. I have time to plan my Europe excursion.
You do.
That's right.
Europe would be fun.
Yeah, do you want to go with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't know. Carrie is probably watching this right now going, no, you both can't be off at the same time. That's our digital
He's probably
manager.
thinking that.
Sometimes I feel like I want to like test Carrie and see if he's listening. Carrie, if you're listening, send us a Slack message of your dream destination so that we can include it here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Oh, just now. There's no way. He's watching, but I don't even think that he knew that I was going to ask that. He said Italy, Rome, Tuscany, and then he went Japan with 3 exclamation points, which is fair because I already asked him this question in the newsroom, and then my brain forgot He's already been to Rome and Tuscany. Okay, so he's recommending to us Rome and Tuscany
Oh, yeah.
for our European excursion, and Carrie would go to Japan. And Carrie did not say that we both couldn't have the time off, so I'm going to assume he's good with us going
good
on
with it.
our vacation together. If I went to Rome, I would bring my Lizzie McGuire costume.
You have to.
Because that's where she performs.
Yeah.
Where dreams are made of. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to plan that.
That's for Carrie. He sent us a wink, so I think we're good. True or false?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. I always get nervous. I never know what Delaney's going to prepare for us here. Oh, that's tag board. That was not very helpful, Delaney. True or false? National Dream Destination Day was set on November 13th because many people begin planning trips for the upcoming year. Yeah, why not? I mean, it's right before the holidays, so you're probably thinking about your plans for like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then you're starting to think of like your New Year's resolution, maybe what you want to do the following year. Maybe you're starting to think PTO requests. All of this seems reasonable to me, so I'm going to go true.
This is true. It's a good moment for reflection and inspiration, and yeah, right ahead of the holiday season. So if you have travel plans, then you're kind of thinking ahead to what's next.
I love this. Also, I feel like we can tease ahead in a few weeks. I was just thinking, I would love to know like the best time of year to travel to Europe, like what the cheapest would be, Delaney. We're going to have a travel expert on in a few weeks.
Oh yeah, we'll have to find out.
She's coming on Travel Tuesday, which would be, there's Black Friday, there's Cyber Monday, Travel Tuesday. So that's a little over 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So we'll ask her, like, what's a good time?
We'll have to ask her.
Yeah, okay, I love that. I'm excited for that. Should we talk about what else today is?
Yeah.
Well, jokingly, this is not a real conversation. It's Sadie Hawkins Day, and so I started singing this song in the newsroom, and Delaney didn't know it. But does anybody else know the Sadie Hawkins dance song? It's like, Sadie Hawkins dance in my khaki pants. There's nothing better, baby, do you like my sweater? Apparently, this is not a popular song. I learned it in summer camp because my camp counselor loved it.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Apparently, if you're wondering, it's by Reliant K, and it came out in 2001. I recommend it. Will you listen to it?
I'll listen to it.
On your Apple Music?
Yeah, I'll listen to
Probably
it.
not even on Apple Music because you should have Spotify. Okay, the other actual day, though. I've got to get our prop. Delaney, do you have yours ready? Starbucks Red Cup Day. While supplies last, if you go to Starbucks and you get a holiday drink, any size, you get your reusable red cup. And if you bring it back, you get 10 cents off your drink. You went for us because I feel like I really lost like my Starbucks like lover card today because I totally forgot that this was today. So I sent you a text and said, will you stop on your way in? And at first you said no. Then you had enough time. But the experience was chaotic. Tell us more.
Yeah, it was really chaotic. It was so busy. I went in there at 8:15. I didn't leave until 8:45. It was packed.
Yeah, 30 minutes is a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the process like for you to get the red cup?
The red cup, getting it was super easy. Where I went, they had an employee standing at the door. So he was just handing them out. He's like, here's a red cup, grab your red cup. And then I think it made it a little bit easier for the baristas.
Okay. Yeah, and you got it. Yours was a little honor system where they were like, however many drinks you're getting, grab one. So you were honest, you grabbed 2.
I was honest, I grabbed 2.
The design this year, it's so funny to see how this is elevated. Because Nicola, our Wake Up anchor, was like, how long have they been doing this? We didn't get the answer, but it's been a while. Because I remember going in like the first year getting it, it was just plain red. Which also is how the Starbucks cups used to be. They were just plain red. Everything gets elevated. This year, it's a little Starbucks coffee shop. And they said they want you to get like the warm vibes you feel when you walk into a Starbucks in the holiday season. So there's like a barista handing a coffee. I think it's actually really cute this year.
It is a cute design this year.
Yeah. What holiday drink did you get today?
I got the peppermint mocha.
Oh, also fun fact, 'cause this confuses people. When you go, sorry, I gotta lean over here. When you go, they're not gonna put your drink in it. So you'll still get your other cup as well. People get confused by this because you need to wash this first. You got a peppermint mocha.
I did.
I also got a peppermint mocha.
Yeah, we like the same drinks.
We do, because we either recommend this or
the gingerbread chai.
An iced gingerbread chai is so good. I was saying that's what I had last year that like put me on iced chais because I'd never had one before. But I remember after the drink went away, it's seasonal, I like couldn't get quite like the same taste that I loved with the gingerbread. It's the cold foam. I don't think I remember that they put a lot of cold foam in that, which makes it so good.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that too until we talked about it the other day.
Yeah, like that's what I think really elevates that drink.
Oh, definitely.
Should we keep it a secret? Our special guest from Starbucks that I'm going to bring into the studio at some point? Or should we tell them?
I don't know.
You
We
don't
could
know,
tease
okay.
ahead.
Tease ahead? There's a viral thing from Starbucks that somebody on the Wisconsin Live Desk team was able to get their hands on, and I will be bringing it in to show it off because we talked about it here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
I'm excited for that.
You know what else I'm excited for? The Blue Origin launch. This is just a video. I was gonna say, I don't think this is live right now. That would have been a little early. We are T-minus 12 minutes and 12 seconds until mission NG2. So we are keeping our eyes here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll hopefully be able to bring you the beginning of that launch. Now we can see this is all live footage coming out from it. And then at 2 o'clock, we actually get to hear from our very own Jason Calvi, Campaign Calvi, as we like to call him in the newsroom. He's actually giving us all the information on the latest of the government shutdown impacts that are going to still be around despite the funding coming through and the government reopening, especially when it comes to air travel, which I guess this is technically air travel as well, a rocket launch. But there it is, waiting to go off, 11 minutes, 30 seconds right there on the dot. They're very precise when it comes to all sorts of launches. So we'll keep our eye on that, bring it to you live here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm also going to try and learn a little bit more about this specific mission. Because again, it's a short one. It's only like an hour. Someone just tuned in. I casually, Delaney, I'm just like holding my coffee cup. I love that for you guys. Tuning in. Sorry, I'm gonna learn more about the mission. Because again, it's only about an hour and 45 minutes. And I know it's gonna go, there's a little map on their website. Oh, actually it's right here. That's the mission. I love it, that just popped up. This is the flight profile I was looking at online. So yeah, you can see where it's gonna go. See, it's gonna go, then it separates. Okay, so it's kind of a semicircle for the booster landing. And then the rest of it goes into the air. Very interesting. Space is so above my pay grade and all these sorts of missions and rockets and launches and where they go, but they are so fascinating to watch. So again, we're keeping our eye on that. We'll bring it to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. For now, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back in 2 minutes with more live news here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back into the Wisconsin Live Desk. We are just about approaching 1:50 on this Thursday afternoon, and we are 8 minutes away from the latest Blue Origin rocket launch, which I did read a little bit more about. The rocket is going to Mars. It's a little mission to Mars, which is very exciting there. It's kind of rotating here between different flight paths, different trajectories, live cameras. There is a rocket that is up, ready to go. So Delaney, my question for you, because when I think of Blue Origin, which is what this New Glenn 2 mission launch is a part of, I think of earlier this year when they sent a lot of female celebrities into the sky. So if you had the opportunity, would you want to go to space?
I think so, but I would want to do one of the launches kind of like the all-female group did, where you're just there for super quick. I wouldn't want to stay. What about you?
There's no way. We've talked about it. I don't love flying. I have gotten better, actually. I was great growing up with flying, like no fears at all. In the last 2 years, it's gotten bad. It's starting to get better again. But I am just such, if it can go, my mind just goes to everything that can go wrong about something. And there just seems like there could be a lot that goes wrong about going into space and being that my feet need to be on the ground.
I understand
That's the way I feel.
Yeah.
My feet need to be on the ground.
I get that.
But I did watch the Blue Origin launch that had, because I love Katy Perry. However, Katy Perry was a little much on that face.
A little bit.
I saw someone for Halloween was her with her daisy that she brought into space.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's really good. And then, of course, she comes out and she kissed the ground. And I was like, I get it because you were just up in space. But you were up in space for 5 minutes?
Yeah, I think it was 5 or 6 minutes. It was
somebody,
quick.
Somebody was interviewing her and goes, congratulations, you're an astronaut. And she went, thank you. And I wanted to be like, you're not an astronaut.
I don't think that's...
To the people who are astronauts that go through so much studying and tests and physical endurance, let's not call ourselves astronauts.
Right.
But it is always exciting. Again, we are waiting. Here's a little bit more of a kind of live report, behind the scenes look for you here on this New Glenn mission NG2. So we'll bring that to you here when it kicks off as this rocket makes its way to Mars. I was hoping they were going to show us kind of the rocket all set up again. Oh, it's like they're listening to us, Delaney. Here it is. This is what's about to go into space as part of the latest Blue Origin mission, which Delaney and I were talking about because I feel like there's now so many different kind of companies that go into space. So this would be the one that is funded by Jeff Bezos. Of course, that's the Amazon kind of creator there. And what's the other one that Elon Musk has, Delaney? You just had it, SpaceX?
I know, I just had it, SpaceX.
And then there's also the Virgin Atlantic guy has his own, and then is NASA still there's so many different rockets.
There's so many.
So this one would be Blue Origin, which again is Jeff Bezos, but there it is. And so I was reading a little bit about it. There's the rocket part that's going to go to Mars, kind of do that orbit. And then the other part of it is the booster. That's what's going to land very quickly. So they lift off, then they go into the ascent kind of phase of the flight, then is the stage separation. So that's when the rocket's going to continue on up into space, making its way to Mars, whereas the booster will then make its way back. It should land, it says, in Jacqueline, Florida. So that's kind of the part I think that freaks me out the most, is that moment of separation where you hope everything goes according to plan. Of course, these are unmanned flights, so it's just the rocket. There is nobody on board, but it's always just interesting to kind of watch those take off and see what they can discover. Obviously, they go on these missions to learn more and get information. Sometimes they're kind of leaving some, I don't know, satellites and things in the sky. So yeah, we'll keep our eye on that one. There's so many people that are behind the scenes. Look at all those people on the screen right there who all play a part in a successful launch. I think about all the math calculations that have to go into this. And now we're just 3 minutes away. Too exciting. Too exciting. I'm excited. Delaney, are you excited for this?
I am excited for this. It's always fun to watch these.
I know. I wonder if we can listen in, actually. Let me see if there's any audio. Because I can try and tell you what's happening, or we might be able to actually hear from the people who know. Well, that didn't seem too optimistic. Let's try this one. Nope, you guys get to keep hearing the commentary of Haley and Delaney over your rocket launch, which is really.
We are in terminal count.
We got it,
The
Delaney.
final go-no-go poll. New Glenn is ready to launch, and we've transitioned into that terminal count. Now, from here on out, you'll be hearing from our flight ops, Patrick Moore.
And from here, the vehicle is also running fully autonomously on software. So our engineers are hands off. They've got their eyes on their screens, but the rocket is in control of itself at the moment.
Yeah, right now they're continuing to condition the propellants on the second stage using chilled helium. You can tell the rocket is nice and cool. And this will continue for another minute or so and helps prep the liquid oxygen and liquid nitrogen that powers the BE-3Us.
Oh, liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen. Sorry, that is for the upper stage.
That's right.
And then also on the first stage, we've got. Oh, hold on a second. There's Kent. Hello, Kent. They're ready for a rocket launch here at T-minus 2 minutes to go to launch. One interesting thing to watch here. A couple of things. One is that the 7 engines start in a stagger start. So we've got 3 of the engines that'll start, and then the other 4 engines that start just a second later. We want to make sure that we don't jostle the rocket or jostle the infrastructure too much. The other thing, the thing that you will visibly be able to see that we are go is when we start that big water. You see the big water tower on your left?
That's right.
We are going to flood the base of the launch pad with the water. It helps dampen the vibrations and the heat. Because, again, we want to make sure that we protect the launch pad, but also the rocket itself here.
And a huge shout out, of course, to Van Horn, to Kent, to Huntsville, Alabama, and our friends here at Rocket Park. We are now, I have gotten the notification, we are on internal power. This is so exciting, Ariane. This is the moment. So that means we've transitioned from ground power to the vehicle's own internal power. We're getting really close here. T-minus 1 minute.
T-minus 60 seconds. Range green. AFSS flight enabled.
Hydraulics are started up on the forward and aft. You might start to see the engines gimbal a bit here. They're going to move back and forth. Make sure they are nice and clear. And we're going to wait here for the big water. Let's turn it back over to mission control. Let's light this candle. Go, New Glenn.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Tell me the odds.
Can't wait to see this booster back on Earth.
GS1 hydraulics internal. GS1 at flight level. GS2 at flight level. Hold.
All right, as we've seen here, our team has decided to go into a hold at T-minus 20 seconds. Let's wait to learn just a little bit more here.
Auto safe and complete.
Thank you again, everybody. If you're just joining us, we are awaiting here NG2, the second mission of New Glenn. We're at T-minus 20 seconds. Our team has decided to enter a hold here. We've said it on other webcasts before. We spend years designing this rocket, months building it, months designing the missions. If we need a couple of minutes to make sure that the rocket is ready, that our team is ready, that everything on the range is ready.
That's right.
Then we will take that time.
At this moment in time, I do have a statement that says that terminal count abort. The team is currently investigating. Right now, you've got to look inside of GS2. You can see our twin satellites. I believe that's Escapade, correct?
That is Escapade. They're ready for its launch to space, to Mars. It's going to have to wait just a couple more minutes here, obviously. There you see the base of the rocket, the 7 BE-4 engines.
If you guys are just joining us, we have been watching this kind of gear up for this Blue Origin launch as their next kind of mission to Mars. We were in the countdown phase. They told us we're in a hold now at 20 seconds as they investigate a few things. So Delaney and I are going to keep watching this for a few minutes because we don't want to miss the launch. But we also do have our very own Jason Kelvey on standby. So we're going to watch this for just a couple more minutes, see if they can figure it out. Otherwise, we'll go to Jason and we'll circle back on Blue Origin.
G2, we are at T-minus 20 seconds. We are currently in a hold because we had a terminal count abort. Our team, like I said, is currently investigating. So while everything is getting sorted out, we're going to toss it back over to NG2 on the pad and give you more information as it becomes available to us.
So it sounds like it's going to take a few minutes to investigate this. We're going to take a break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk because Jason's ready to go. And we'll take you then out to the airport to get the latest in the skies. Maybe by then the launch will be ready for us. We'll keep our eyes locked on this. For now, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back in 2 minutes.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk this Thursday afternoon, just now after 2. Before the break, we were keeping our eyes on the latest Blue Origin launch. They are still in that hold pattern as they do some investigation, so we'll keep our eye on that and see if that rocket lifts off and takes off. One place that planes are for sure taking off would be Mitchell International Airport. That's actually where our very own Jason Calvey is joining us from today. Because Jason, government shutdown might have ended, but travel impacts, they're still kind of happening. I know you talked to a few experts today, a pilot. Tell us what you've learned, Jason.
Yeah, well, we definitely know that these traffic delays in the skies are going to continue for some time now. We're only 2 weeks today. Thursday, we're 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving, which is that very, very busy time for travel around the Thanksgiving holiday where people are taking flights, they're on the roads. Some of the busiest travel of the entire year happens during that weekend. And so we've got 2 weeks now to sort of have the FAA ramp up the flights. They did cut back. They were going to be cutting back by 10% tomorrow, but because the government's reopening and now is reopened, they're actually going to keep that cut at 6% at the 40 largest, busiest airports in the country. So let's take a look at the board behind me. This is where we can see the departures and arrivals. So let's start on the departure screen right here, if we can zoom in on that. And we can see there's a number of flights that have been canceled. So if we look at the first screen here, we can see Boston has a canceled flight. coming in, departing from Mitchell to Boston. We've got Boston canceled. Going down, we have a Chicago O'Hare canceled, Chicago O'Hare canceled, and Chicago O'Hare. 3 for Chicago O'Hare are canceled. And if we look at the next screen over here, we have a number of delays coming, departing Mitchell to go to places like New York LaGuardia, as well as Washington, D.C. That's Ronald Reagan Airport in our nation's capital. So that's the departures. If we pan over to the arrival screen, you can see again a number of cancellations. We've got a Boston plane that was arriving at 6:04. That's been canceled. Chicago O'Hare canceled. Chicago O'Hare canceled. Chicago O'Hare canceled. So again and again, we have a number of cancellations, and this is part of that system right now where the major airlines, the major airports, the busiest airports in the country have canceled, and those flights come here to Mitchell, so they're not arriving here at Mitchell, which was not one of those that was impacted by the required cuts, but because all the airlines are interconnected with these hub and spoke system, those flights have been canceled in other cities, mean those flights are not coming here, which means if you're departing from here for some of those flights I just mentioned, including Boston, Chicago, and LaGuardia, the plane's not taking off. So airlines have been putting people on other, they've been really kind of alerting people ahead of time that these cuts were happening, so they've been texting people, giving them options to get on another flight or to get refunds and things like that. So that's where we are. Even though the government is shut down, looking at that big board behind me, we can still see there's problems ahead.
Yeah, Jason, I think the big question that people are going to have then, as you mentioned, Thanksgiving 2 weeks away, obviously this isn't an overnight solution to fix the travel headache. Is there any sort of a timeline to when things might be back to normal?
Yeah, slowly but surely. We spoke with one pilot who works for one of the big airlines and also is a former military flight instructor, as well as runs a network for pilots. And he was telling me, talking to some of his contacts that are air traffic controllers, that they were really struggling with the shutdown. You know, they hadn't been paid. This is the longest shutdown in U.S. history, and they were really worried about their personal lives. Like, how am I going to put food on my table? How am I going to pay my mortgage? Do I have to go into debt to be able to afford necessities like food, groceries, gasoline to get to work? So that was really a major stress for some of these air traffic controllers who may have had to call in sick at some points because, again, they have that crucial job of directing air traffic. And if their mind is not able, if they're mentally fatigued because of all their personal stresses, some of them have been calling in sick because they couldn't handle the job. So he said, you know, it has been a major issue. If we look over my shoulder here, we can also see another group of federal workers who haven't been paid. That's the TSA officers, the people that do the security screening at the airports. Those federal officers have not been paid for this shutdown. And I talked with the union representing TSA officers here at Mitchell, as well as Chicago, at the airports in Wisconsin, as well as the airports in Illinois. And he was telling me that they haven't been paid. They've been struggling. Some of them have actually left the profession and quit because they're so worried about how they're going to make ends meet. And so they had to take on other jobs or even a second or third job to pay for groceries, gas, utilities, mortgage, rent, etc. And the question is, when are they going to get their back pay? Because even though they're working, with the shutdown now ended, with the government funded, they are entitled to that back pay, but how long are they going to have to wait? The union rep said they were told they might not get paid that back pay until November 24th. Can you imagine going another week and a half before you get that back pay? I did ask the TSA department when they expect the pay to come, and they said they're working to expedite that pay as soon as possible. But again, there's not a clear answer for those officers who have been working with pay now for the longest government shutdown in U.S. history.
You know, Jason, it's a great reminder that these truly are everyday people who have their own, personal expenses, who are being asked to show up for 40 plus days without getting pay, still don't have that pay. I am curious, did you ask them kind of their reaction to finally having the government reopen? Are they relieved that this has finally, passed Congress? Are they frustrated with how long it took? What were their thoughts?
Yeah, I think the union definitely can be a little bit more vocal with sharing their criticisms, and they say this is not the end of their problems. I mean, like I mentioned, some of them have been taking out debt. Some of them have been worried about their credit scores. I mean, think about if you're in a situation where you weren't able to pay your credit card because you didn't have a paycheck coming in, or you weren't able to pay for your rent or mortgage, and now you have dings on your credit score. So they said this is not the end of their worries. They will get their back pay, but even with that, there's still holes that happened over the last 43 days that need to be filled. And as far as the air traffic controllers and the pilots, they said hopefully this is a call to action, so to speak, that people will call on their elected leaders to continue to fund infrastructure for these air traffic controllers, because it really shines a light on the fact that even before the shutdown, there were some staffing challenges for air traffic controllers. And we saw Secretary Sean Duffy from Wisconsin, our Secretary of Transportation here with the United States government, a former congressman from Wisconsin. He came out and said that the pressure on the system was just too much during the shutdown, that they had to make those cuts to those busiest airports across the country, including those ones I mentioned on the screen behind me, LaGuardia, Chicago O'Hare, Chicago Midway, that have been making those cuts. They were going to be ramping up. They started at 4% cut last Friday, and they were slowly ramping up to what they were expecting tomorrow to be a 10% cut at those busiest airports. But now, because the government is reopening, they're going to leave the cuts at 6% at those busiest airports.
And Jason, you brought up a good point too. I imagine that even though the government is now back open, for people who just went 40 plus days without pay, they know this can happen again. You know, what's going to happen the next time that the funding is a question? I don't want to go through this again. So it'll be interesting to see the fallout, and if people, like you're saying, might just switch their careers to something that is more of a guaranteed steady paycheck. Is that what you're kind of also looking into a little bit, hearing about?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're hearing from both the union and others as well. That issue of the next potential government shutdown is a very real one. This funding bill for most of the government funds the government through January 30th, 2026. So that doesn't get us very far. And even speaking with Senator Tammy Baldwin, one of the Democrats who opposed the spending bills because it didn't fund the enhanced Obamacare subsidies that have helped people afford the Obamacare marketplace exchange healthcare policies programs. She said that they might have to use this strong arm tactic again if these Obamacare subsidies or healthcare subsidies are not continued into the new year. Right now, those Obamacare enhanced subsidies that started in 2021 under the American Rescue Act under President Joe Biden, those do run out at the end of this year. So December 31st will be the last day for those enhanced subsidies, and then after that, starting January 1st, those new Obamacare plans are really going to see those premiums skyrocket without those enhanced subsidies in place. Now, Republicans counter and say that Obamacare just isn't working. They want to try something new. What is that new thing? That's what we asked Republicans yesterday. They've had 16 years to come up with a replacement, and it doesn't seem, talking to Republicans, that they have a plan in place to replace Obamacare. They've criticized it. They continue to criticize it, say those enhanced subsidies were during the pandemic. They were to help people, but it shows, they say, that the system is not working and needs to be changed. Democrats say that without these enhanced tax credits, people are going to be forced to lose their health insurance, and that, they say, is just unacceptable. So this debate over health care is not over. It's what sparked this shutdown, and here we are, January 30th of 2026, that government fight could come up again, potentially another shutdown. We'll see.
Yeah, so a whole lot to consider and to kind of follow with this story. Jason, when can we catch your story tonight on Fox Local?
We'll be on Fox Local tonight, live here at Mitchell International Airport in Milwaukee at 4 o'clock. We'll be on at 5. We'll have another report at 6. So we'll hear from, again, the union. We'll hear from a pilot who's been impacted and seen what's been going on, talking to his network of thousands of pilots across the country about how they've been impacted, and talking with air traffic controllers. He has talked with them as well to figure out what the situation is on the ground at these airports and in the skies above us.
Yeah, you've done a lot of news gathering today, and we can't wait to see that final report. Jason, thanks so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey, Lee, take care. Thank you.
That's the latest coming from our very own Jason Calvi on kind of the travel impacts that are still very much present despite the government reopening. Before we went to Jason, we were following the potential rocket launch, which I just want to check in because we now have a new takeoff time. So if you were watching with us for this New Glenn mission NG2 out of Blue Origin, we made it all the way down to the 22nd mark of the countdown. Then they put us in a hold pattern because they wanted to investigate some sort of an issue with the rocket. Now we have a new countdown of 31 minutes, which means I won't be here for the launch. But good news, Mary Stoker-Smith will. We'll make sure she continues to watch that feed and bring it to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk when it does launch and start that mission to Mars. But for us, we've got an extra special treat coming up. We're going to talk to our very own Ben Handelman. He's got such a fun story airing later today on Fox 6. He's going to give us the inside scoop right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk right after this break. Stick with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Time check for you at 2:16 this Thursday afternoon, which means I've got about 15 minutes left with you before Mary Stoker-Smith takes over, and she'll get you guys to 3:30. But hey, you're going to want to keep it on Fox Local all day long, especially later today at 9 p.m. because we have a new story coming out with the man, the myth, the legend. He joins us right now on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Ben Handelman, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to come back to the Wisconsin Live Desk today.
This is a first for me. I have hosted the Wisconsin Live Desk. I have never been a guest on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I wanted to be treated like a guest, like I was hoping there'd be an extra water in the green room for me or something, and it was like, no. I wanted hair and makeup. It was like, do it yourself.
Yeah, we really didn't give you a whole lot.
You don't have a budget for that.
But we want to let you know you're not just a guest, you're a VIP.
Oh.
You're a very important person here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Well, thank you. I'm very excited to talk about what is coming tonight.
That's
and,
right.
You know, and I know people are busy, so in case you missed it tonight, it'll be on demand right here on Fox Local, probably starting tonight. But Haley, are you on the TikTok?
Of course I'm on the TikTok.
The fact that I called it the TikTok shows you my age here. But yes, this story all originated from me doing what I do best, sitting on my couch, doom scrolling through TikTok, and on my what the cool kids call the FYP page on TikTok, the For You page. This guy landed on my FYP page. His name is Matt Balthazar. He's from Whitefish Bay. And I like all kinds of stories. I like good investigative stories. I like stories that really dig. This is a story about a dad trying to embarrass his daughters, and that had me sold from the get-go.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so tell me a little bit more about the TikToks, because I've watched this story. I got a little sneak peek of it. I'm pretty excited about that, Ben. And this dad is so funny, but he's also not just embarrassing his daughters.
No.
He's embarrassing his wife.
It started with his daughters, and it has morphed. Of course, he's going to embarrass his wife, because And Matt told me this very well. I think all dads have it within them that they are the ones who know how to embarrass their children and their wives the worst. So this all started, first of all, let's just explain what these videos are. So he goes on social media, he posts these videos, he makes these videos of his family where he holds his phone out, as you can see him doing here.
Yep.
And he says, hey, what's up, guys? And he starts doing these fake reviews of businesses, okay? But he always catches his daughters and his wife completely off guard. Like, they have no idea when he's going to just whip the phone out and start recording. And every time he does it, they say, he is so loud. So just imagine you're in the middle of a store and suddenly you just hear, hey, what's up, guys? And his daughters are just cannot believe it. His wife is mortified.
Yep.
And so this actually all started as Matt was doing the exact same, Matthew was doing the same thing I was doing. He was doom scrolling on TikTok, and there's a guy in Chicago named Johnny Stapo, I think is how you pronounce his last name, and he started doing this to his wife, okay? He started making videos to his audience, his social media followers. He doesn't have any, or at least then, didn't have any social media followers, and his wife's reaction was so disgusted that the guy goes viral. So this dad from Whitefish Bay thought that was funny, and he was gonna try it himself, and what do you know? His version has gone even more viral. And we're talking millions of views on some of these videos as they have just taken the internet and social media by storm.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about kind of where it started with finding that other TikToker, reinventing it, doing it kind of here in Wisconsin, it blowing up into millions of views. You can see the embarrassment on their faces. I get secondhand embarrassment for them. But there's also kind of that sweet idea of connecting with his daughters as well through TikTok by doing this.
Okay, so he's got 3 daughters. So he's really in the thick of it because I have one daughter who's 5 and gives me attitude and like doesn't want to talk to me. He's got 3 teenagers, or a 12-year-old. They're 17, 15, and 12. One's in middle school, 2 are in high school. So he knows what it's like to have a door shut in his face or nobody wants to talk to him in his household. Like, he gets it as a dad. And so this is his way of payback a little bit of trying to connect with those girls who have so much going on in their lives. I mean, they got sports, they got school, they got social lives, which, as I don't know if you remember when you were a teenager, not always the easiest time to do that. And so he's got a lot to compete with. And yes, this has been a way for him to connect back with, it's like going exactly where his girls are. They're on their phones, so he's just joining them there. And it has actually, despite getting under their skin, making them mortified in front of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of viewers, they do think this is really funny. They're in on the joke, and they do think their dad, dare I say, may actually be cool now because he has so many social media followers.
As I say, they're in on the joke to a certain extent because one daughter thought it went a little too far one time and didn't even speak to her dad for 24 hours.
I think there are multiple times that the 17-year-old thinks that the dad has gone too far. But yes, he was at a football game and he decided to make one of these videos. And sure enough, he pulls out the phone right in front of the student section where, you know, that's an important night if you're a teen to like hang out with your friends and not spend any time with your dad. And here he is embarrassing you in front of the entire school. Yeah, she didn't talk to him for an entire day.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I think it's, I would have been mortified in high school if my dad did that to me.
Yeah, he's lucky. I think he learned his lesson from that one. I think even he admits maybe that one was too far. But honestly, you don't know when he's going to do this. Like, he doesn't do it every single day. He doesn't even do it every single week, his family says. So, you know, one week, maybe there's no videos. And then the next week, he pulls out the phone 3 different times. His wife did want me to tell everyone, if you go on the TikTok, it appears that they eat out every single night. And she's like, we don't actually eat out as much as the TikTok makes it appear. He just, that's what these videos are about. So they are so funny, though. And honestly, he's the one that's pulling out the phone, but it's his family's reaction. Like, they are the stars of these TikTok videos. They're what has made this go viral. So they deserve all the credit for really being embarrassed by their dad.
Yeah. Well, hey, Ben, you know, it's the Wisconsin Live Desk, so I want a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at what goes into making a story like this. Obviously, you're an anchor. You still are a reporter as well. I know what it's like when you're scrolling through TikTok and you think, this could make a great story. But there's a lot of pieces that have to fall into place to make it happen. So for you, what was it like to not just find him on TikTok, but to be able to get in contact for him to be willing to tell their story, and to be here today, getting to share it with our viewers?
Yeah, the weird thing is when I was scrolling through all of his videos, because I thought they were so funny, so I literally was binge watching them. I live on the North Shore here in Milwaukee County, and I realized from all the videos, I'm like, this man is living my life, because these are all the restaurants that me and my wife take our daughter to. These are all the stores that I shop in. Like, I knew he was close, and he turns out he does not live far from me. Like, I was dead on. He's like almost one of my neighbors here. Didn't know that going in.
Oh, that's so funny.
But yeah, you got to reach out to these people, and I didn't even know his name, because the name of the TikTok is, Hey, What's Up, Guys? And the reason it's Hey, What's Up, Guys is because he starts every video with, Hey, what's up, guys?
Well, he doesn't say it that quietly, Ben.
Well, that's true. And I'm not one that ever say anything too quietly either. But yeah, so I didn't know his name. You know, you're reaching out to these people, and I just said, hi, hey, what's up, guys? Hey, what's up, guy? And yeah, and he was 100% on board. And he says, you know, one of the reasons he's doing this too is he has this realization that this moment in time with your daughters does not last very long. And especially, I think he's really going through it now, realizing that his oldest daughter, she's 17, she's about to go to college. His middle child is 15, not far behind. And these videos have created kind of a snapshot in a hysterical way, but it has shown kind of what this family is going through. And he admits, you know, doing this story and having a news crew come into our house, like, that's something we're always going to remember.
Yeah.
Who knows how long his 15 minutes of fame on the TikTok will last, but he realizes, like, this is kind of special, that it's spiked, and it's something that doesn't happen to a lot of people, doesn't happen to a lot of dads. There are so many content creators, but I don't know how many are dads out there. So it has kind of brought them together, and as an emotional dad now who's realizing his kids are getting older, he's wanted to do this. So we reached out to him. He was 100% on board. It was just a matter of, like, finding a day for me, because, you know, I anchor the news here at Fox 6, to get out into the field, as we call it, and get off the anchor desk for a day. This is one of those stories that's kind of like a less difficult story to shoot, right? Because we call it one-stop shop. Like, we go one place and we have everything we need. That's not always the case. I'm working on a different story that it's taken me like weeks to do it, because there's been different pieces and different people I've had to talk to. So this one came together a little quicker, and I can't wait to share it. It will air, its first time, it will premiere tonight on Fox 6 News at 9.
We are so excited to see it, Ben. I think it's just one of those perfect stories that's not just funny, but there's a really sweet message about, you know, connecting with your family and cherishing the time you have with them before they leave the house. Are Ashley and your daughter safe, or are you going to start doing this as well?
No, I'm not. I mean, he is the king of this.
Okay.
They're safe for now. They're not safe in other ways, because, again, I think every dad has a way of, like, even my 5-year-old looks at me with disgust many days of the week.
Yeah.
And she's 5.
Yeah.
She gets embarrassed by me just acting a fool all the time. So,
well, let me tell you, I'm a lot older than 5, and I still give my dad a lot of attitude, and he still embarrasses me. So I think that's not going away anytime soon.
Yeah, no, I think it's a lifetime thing.
I think it is. All right, Ben, thanks so much for joining us on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We can't wait to watch your story tonight at 9, and of course it will live on Fox Local after that.
You can watch it on demand right here on the app. Thanks, Haley. Appreciate it.
Of course. Always fun to have Ben Handelman join us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Again, I did kind of get a sneak preview of the story. It is so well done. It is so funny. You're not going to want to miss that one. Definitely tune in and catch that. We're also still trying to tune in and catch this New Glenn Mission NG2. Oh no, Delaney. It says hold again. Oh no, you guys. Now the countdown made it to 17 minutes and 4 seconds. Now it looks like it's in a holding pattern again. I don't know if it's going to happen today or not. But we're doing what we said we would, which is keeping our eyes on that feed. We're still monitoring it. We're going to take another break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and then we'll see what else we can find in the feeds. Eventually, Mary Stoker Smith will take over as well, but I'll be back after this break. Don't worry. Be back in 2 minutes.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Time check for you, 2:31 on your Thursday afternoon, and my oh my, we have already covered so much news the last 2 hours here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We got to check in with Abril Preciado at a food distribution center with the government back open. Still a need for people to put food on the table. We watched President Trump sign an executive order. We got to chat Murder Girl, which is a new show in Milwaukee that opens tomorrow. We talked dream destinations for Delaney and myself. We got to talk to Ben Handelman as he previews his story coming up later on Fox Local. We talked to Jason Calvi about the impacts to travel, especially in the skies, as despite the government being back open, those delays still very much present, cancellations still present, pilots and TSA agents, air traffic controllers still frustrated as well. A couple things we're monitoring here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. This is a feed where in a few minutes we should be able to hear from Secretary of State Marco Rubio. He will be meeting with the Argentinian foreign minister. So we'll keep our eyes on that. We'll bring that to you live once that starts. The other thing we've been watching is this potential, and I'm going to start using the word potential, rocket launch from Blue Origin. We watched it count down to 20 seconds, get put in a hold. Then we watched them restart it from about 30 minutes. I see it's in a hold again, so we're not sure if it's going to happen or not, but I am going to leave this up, see if we can listen in. They might be investigating a few things, but otherwise, Mary Stoker Smith taking over here, so I will leave you now. She's got you covered till 3:30, and I'll be back tomorrow at 12:30, but let's see if we can get this rocket to launch. Let's listen in here. See you tomorrow, guys.
Out on the pad and looking absolutely fantastic. All right, everyone, you have your eyes on New Glenn. This is NG2. We're at L minus 18 minutes and about 40 seconds. Now, coming up at the 17-minute mark, we will have that poll for terminal count. But Ariane, right now, I want to talk about how incredible this rocket is, how unique this rocket is. Can you kind of walk through for our viewers what makes this vehicle so unique?
Sure. So it's a two-stage vehicle. If you were able to tune in on Sunday, you saw a little bit of this explanation. But basically, when you talk about a two-stage vehicle, all that means for those of you that are not rocket nerds like us is that we're just stacking a rocket on top of a rocket. GS1, Glenn Stage 1, is the one on the bottom. It pushes Glenn Stage 2, the rocket on the top. And then on top of Glenn Stage 2, GS2, you see that shroud. In there, that's the payload fairing. In the payload fairing today are payloads, NASA's Escapade, the 2 satellites. But what makes this rocket so special? We're going to land the first stage. The first stage is reusable. And what's cool about this first stage in particular is, we've had our New Shepard program, our suborbital program. We've learned so much from that rocket program. And there's actually some interesting similarities between the two, but also some differences. Up here, you see that we've put we call them now the forward fins at the top. Those help with the directional capability. New Shepard also has those. But this one, we also have the strakes. We want to be able to essentially fly this rocket back home and relight the engines. So it's a beautiful rocket. I cannot see it do its thing this first time in just a couple of minutes here.
I know. And at L minus 17 minutes, let's listen in for that go poll for terminal count. All right, guys, we have New Glenn on the pad, and the reason I have my computer in front of me is so I can tell you these great things. So we are go for terminal count at L minus 15 minutes and 30 seconds. You are watching NG2, New Glenn on the pad, the booster so appropriately named Never Tell Me the Odds. Ariane, and a great day to fly.
A beautiful day to fly. Looks a lot better than it did on Sunday. We were just constantly fighting the Florida weather down here. It would be sunny, and then it would be rainstorm, lightning, and then it would be sunny again. It was a lot going on, but today is a beautiful, beautiful day to fly. So as you mentioned, we're now at L minus 15 minutes to go from New Glenn's second launch. And Tabitha, you recently had the chance to chat with our CEO, Dave Limp, about NG2, today's mission, and what this mission means for science and for our company.
Yeah, you can see Kent right there on your screen. Hey, guys, giving you lots of love right here from the desk. Also thinking about our guys in Huntsville, Alabama, Van Horn, Texas, and of course, right here in Rocket Park. Now, when I got to talk to Dave, not only did he share his message to the more than 10,000 employees here at Blue Origin, some of which you see on your screen, but also how important NG2 is to focus on for our customers. This is a really big moment for Blue Origin. Can you tell me how NG2 compares to NG1?
Yeah, I think NG1 was obviously our first mission. There was lots to learn, and we did learn a lot, and unbelievably successful in that we made our goal, which was to get to orbit. This time we're going to be a little bit more ambitious, and we want to not only get to orbit, but we have our first paying customer this time with Escapade, and get them off to Mars. That's the first part of our goal, and then the second part of the goal.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm interrupting that Blue Origin launch. That was really fascinating, wasn't it, when I was switched with Haley just now? Boy, that was really cool to watch. There's something about a launch and a launch into space. It just is incredible. How are you? Mary Stoker-Smith coming at you this Thursday afternoon. I'm so excited to be. I feel like this is our time together, our little coffee clutch, you know? And I got a funny story about that coming up. But for now, good afternoon. So glad you're with us. We have a lot to talk about today. It's not all smiles. There's some seriousness happening, and I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. But first, we want to talk about an incredible warm-up that we have. It was snowing right on Sunday, Monday, and now all of a sudden the jackets are coming off, and it sounds like we are in for a delightful weekend. Great weekend to do some yard work, maybe hang out the holiday decorations, get things spiffy for your in-laws and that big group you got coming over for Thanksgiving, because we're 2 weeks away, or just get outside and take a stroll, because that dreaded treadmill, it almost got me this week, but I was able to avoid it. But we're not going to be able to avoid it forever. We are in Wisconsin and in southeastern Wisconsin. When we come back, we are going to talk to a doctor about something that I said was very serious, and it really is, and that is cold and flu season. I know, days like today, you're like, what? Cold and flu, but we do need to talk about that, especially with Thanksgiving and those large gatherings coming up in just 2 weeks. I know all of a sudden the holiday party list is starting. It's, 4 weeks away before a big office gathering or whatever you have. So we want to make sure we protect ourselves, because those germs come quick, they come often, especially for those who have compromising immune systems or compromised immune systems. We want to talk about what you can do. We're going to talk about that. We're going to look at the weather, and then we're going to talk about some real cool stories we got going on for 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10, and especially with the government shutdown ending. I know a lot of you are saying, relief. Yeah, it is finally here. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll jump into cold and flu, and then we'll tell you about some other events going on in southeastern Wisconsin today and for the weekend. Do not go away. Don't you leave me. I see you. You don't want to miss what's next. Keep it right here on Fox Local. Be right back.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're having a great Thursday afternoon. Oh, it's a beautiful day here in southeastern Wisconsin. The leaves are still on the trees, at least in my neck of the woods. It's just nice to get outside, take a walk, get some fresh air. Oh, yeah. And if the cold and the flu hasn't gotten you down, it's really time to get out, because we need to talk about the fact that it is going to get colder, and you know what that means, cold and flu season. It's actually here. It's hard to think about it right now because it's so nice out. And it's been a really nice fall, but we definitely have our minds on this. When I'm kind of putting together things for our time together on Thursday afternoon, I love medical, but this is kind of the first thing I thought about, because, you know, in years past, it's like, oh, we have these big family gatherings. What do we do, you know, after the pandemic? And this is a time to think about that, because if you are thinking about a shot, if you're thinking about it, it takes about 2 weeks, from what I've heard, to get things going in your system and to build up all the defenses and get yourself ready. But this is really the time to start thinking, what can I do with a lot of people gathering? And even if you're not gathering, the fact that you're probably going to be out and about with some people puts you at a higher risk. For that, we are going to turn to the expert, because I'm not a doctor, I just play one on TV. I'm kind of a wannabe. So we are thrilled, so excited today to have our doctor with us today. It's just wonderful that you were able to join us really on such short notice. Dr. Andrea Giammalva, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. And you're not far away. You're actually in Northern Illinois, correct? Yeah. I had you muted there. My bad. Sorry about that.
Oh,
yeah,
that's okay. Again. Just said happy to be here. Happy to join you this
Belvedere,
afternoon.
Belvedere, right? Not too far down
That's
the road.
right.
Yeah, good to have you. Well, thank you so much. We want to talk about the importance of the cold and the flu, and you know, jump right in and remind everybody we are in full cold and flu season, correct?
We are. To your point, the weather may not feel like it, but fall really starts to ramp up into that winter surge before we know it. And especially you mentioned the concept about getting vaccinated. You are correct. It takes about 2 weeks for that vaccine to peak in our system and to really get that full effect. So now is the time to think about your vaccine. If you have not done it, do it ASAP before those rates continue to rise, because they're already on the rise. I have no audio. I can't hear you.
Sorry, we're not here to push vaccines. We're not here to tell people they have to. This is a personal choice. And, you know, but there have been so many indications and messages from healthcare providers. If you do want to get the shot, and if you need to, really this is the time to do it. When you're talking about these shots, doctor, though, since we're on the topic, do people say that they get the flu shot? They may say, okay, then I'm fine for the other shots. COVID, RSV, whatever. Talk about what the flu shot targets, and if you got the flu shot, should you consider another one for the season?
Right. That's a great question. So the flu vaccine specifically protects against flu, whereas other viruses have to have their own individual vaccines to protect against them, because they are different and your body responds differently to each of those vaccines to protect you. The important thing to think about is, what are some of your underlying health conditions that might predispose you to need additional vaccines? Everyone is recommended to get the flu vaccine. That means everyone's 6 months and older. And keep in mind, there's even non-injection versions. So there is a nasal spray that you can actually even self-administer in some instances. So you don't even have to be seen by a provider if you have white coat syndrome, all of the above.
Okay,
that's for patients.
You should have seen my face. I honestly didn't know that. Okay, so we need to talk about that. So there's you can do this. I've heard rumblings, but I didn't know it was actually a thing. So back up a little. Is this accessible for everybody? And talk us through this. It's effective, I guess, right?
Yes. Yeah. It may depend on your insurance coverage, but you can always connect with your local pharmacy to confirm if you're eligible for the nasal spray. And there's also some conditions that you shouldn't take the nasal spray for. So for example, if you have underlying asthma or significant lung conditions, the nasal spray is not recommended. But yeah, patients age 2 to 49 oftentimes is an opportunity to self-administer, meaning you'd pick it up at the pharmacy and be able to do it on your own. but additionally, it's something that can be administered in your local clinic if you're a little anxious or nervous about self-administering. But that is an option for ages 2 to 49. Otherwise, everyone 6 months and older can get the traditional or typical vaccine that we're used to, which does involve a syringe and a needle. But that's especially important too in our population that is outside of that 2 to 49 range and that has other, health conditions. The very young, as well as those that are older. So when you're over the age of 65, there's actually a higher dose vaccination because you actually need a higher dose to help your body basically respond or help your immune system respond better and be prepared for the flu season.
So my mom is 92. If she goes, and she will go to get her flu shot, if she hasn't already, I'll check in with her. Does she need to say, I want that stronger dose? Is that automatic? How do we talk to our elderly, if you will, about getting this? And especially if you're saying this boost needs to happen.
Right. That's a great question. So typically the workflow is automated and there's just simply kind of a next step to tell the patient, I'm offering you the higher dose flu vaccine because of your age. Technically, a patient could decline and say they only want the regular dose, but I would not suggest that. They're not going to get the same response. Their immune system is not going to respond as robustly as it would have had they done the higher dose. So part of the kind of standard work is if you're over the age of 65, then you're offered automatically that high dose, but there is a comment to you to let you know we're providing you with the high dose vaccine today. But you really shouldn't, choose the lower dose at that juncture. If you're over 65, the studies do prove that you should definitely get that higher dose vaccine.
And side effects when you do get it, because a lot of people say, well, I'm going to get sick if I get it, so why get it? But we do have to talk about the side effects. What can people expect?
Sure. And oftentimes people think they're getting sick for two different reasons. So not only do people kind of wait a little bit and end up getting vaccinated, in the midst of flu season and cough and cold season. So first of all, they may actually have already been exposed to something leading up to the time frame that they went in to get their vaccine. But secondarily, a reaction such as feeling kind of like worn out, a little tired, achy, feverish, those are all actually signs of your immune system robustly responding to the vaccine. So in a lot of ways, that's actually a good sign and a good signal. Not always so great to have to deal with it per se. However, again, it's that recognition that your immune system is responding in a nice and robust way to prepare your body if you are to come in contact with the full swoop of what flu can bring to your body, unfortunately. And really the key is just get that vaccine as early as possible. That way you're ready for any spike that may happen in your community and you have that full 2 weeks to get the full immunity going in your body so that you're ready to go.
It's hard to predict, I'm sure, as a healthcare provider every year about how strong that surge in flu could be, how strong that virus could be. I remember not too long ago, a couple of years ago, it seems like everybody was getting wiped out. What are the trends that you're seeing so far this year, even though it is still pretty early in the season?
Yeah, it is pretty early, but interestingly, with our organization, we actually provide electronic medical record for over 3,000 urgent care clinics across the country, and we're able to gather that anonymized data and watch the trend line. So we're actually already seeing the uptick happening. So whereas a couple weeks ago, the percent of flu positivity was around 2%, we're already up to over 6%. So we're seeing that upward trajectory happening. Additionally, we typically follow the Australian flu data and then kind of transpose it into what we might expect to happen in our country. And that has followed a pretty typical trajectory. So we're actually seeing what we expected based on what's happened already in Australia for their cough, cold, and flu season. And actually Australia saw a peak that kind of extended for a little bit of time. So unfortunately, it seems like we maybe will be in for somewhat of a longer flu season. Maybe won't peak so abruptly, but will peak and kind of extend for a bit longer than maybe last year, for example.
Well, that's kind of discouraging. Give us some of the symptoms, and then if we do feel those symptoms, tell us some of the things to do to remedy that. Obviously, there was no cure, but then if we're experiencing those, at what point do we seek a healthcare provider? At what point do we go to the hospital?
Yeah, those are great questions. So the typical presentation of flu is usually that very abrupt onset of symptoms where maybe even a couple hours ago, let alone a day ago, you were feeling okay. And then suddenly you have a very high fever, you're extremely achy, you're extremely worn out. The key with flu is actually to be seen within about 48 hours because our treatment options for flu, specifically the antiviral that helps to decrease the duration and decrease the severity of your illness, really does typically have to be treated treated within that first 48 hours. And that's why it's so important to know that you have access to a clinic, for example, where you can get in quickly, maybe even a clinic where you don't need an appointment, like a walk-in option such as urgent care, where they have opportunity for rapid testing and you can find out right away, and then you can discuss your options for treatment. And again, treatment is more about diminishing the symptoms and diminishing the length of time that you'll have the illness overall.
Well, you were saying, when to seek treatment and by going to urgent care. And in fact, you stress that over going to an ER, largely in part because it's more cost prohibitive to go to an urgent care instead of ER.
So yeah, the ER can be quite costly, especially depending on your insurance plan. Sometimes you have a very high deductible. For example, you might end up spending thousands of dollars where you could have maybe just spent a copay to show up to the local urgent care that's near your home. Additionally, this is a very convenient opportunity. And even many of the urgent cares are able to connect with local pharmacies and be able to provide that same day access to your prescription. Actually, recently, Xperity was able to begin a collaboration with Amazon Pharmacy, for example, where you don't even have to go to the pharmacy and you can sign up to get that same day delivery, get that medication to your doorstep. You can benefit from this service and not have to either expose others, or honestly, at that point, if you're not feeling that great, nobody really wants to have to drive to yet another place after they've had an appointment.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the last thing you want to do. What are some tips? So we don't even want to get there. We want to enjoy the holiday season. We wait for it all year. It's so much fun to be with family and friends. And, honestly, emotionally and mentally, it's great for us. But sometimes that close contact and those close quarters, give us some tips on how to stay really healthy, particularly in the next couple of months.
Absolutely. I mean, it really does start with kind of your baseline level of what helps you stay healthy on a regular basis. And that's getting a good amount of sleep, staying active if you have an exercise regimen, or maybe starting an exercise regimen to keep your body healthy, eating healthy, a well-balanced, well-rounded diet. Of course, there's no research better than to prove how well vaccines can help to effectively decrease the spread of flu within your community, let alone the chances of you getting flu. Definitely stay home if you're sick, or encourage family members to stay home if they're sick so that they're not also spreading throughout the community. And hand hygiene is always a key.
But now, when you talk about hand hygiene, because I'm kind of a little OCD about it, I have to admit, I always tell for example, I'm always on my husband, sing happy birthday or whatever, because, I don't want to tell on him, but, just between us girls, he'll run in and quick. And I've always heard you've got to wash between 20 and 30 seconds. Is that true, or is that just kind of an old wives' tale?
Well, it's interesting. There's been a lot of studies done on this, and there's question around whether truly antibacterial soap versus just soap itself is good enough, because the friction of actually rubbing your hands together for a significant amount of time is enough to get those germs off of the surface of your hands, which then the surface of your hands is what you're touching and kind of transmitting, or touching your face and then basically infecting yourself if you had touched something else. So yes, lots of opportunities. Sing the ABCs, sing happy birthday, pick your song, basically. But really that friction and covering all the surfaces of your hand is the key, not just a quick rub, rinse, leave, to your point.
And I love me some antibacterial, but you're saying it really doesn't matter. It's the soap and the water.
Yeah, when you're physically washing your hands under the sink, it's that friction of actually rubbing and cleaning the surface, versus if you're using something like a Purell, for example, then it certainly is the antibacterial effect, because it's actually layering the skin and killing the bacteria, so to speak.
And I was going to ask about that, because again, you're at gatherings, you can't keep running to the bathroom. So, I carry those little Purells that they're disposable. I can kind of keep discreetly. Are those as effective if any of us are just using those, a quick deal and then go? Do they work?
Yeah, they do. Some people find after multiple layers, though, they just kind of need to rinse it off and start over. So that would be, and especially being a healthcare worker, I can attest to that.
Oh, yeah.
So beyond just kind of getting some of that residue over time that maybe feels a little annoying, the actual utilization is great if that's your option versus hand washing.
Yeah, exactly. And you get so dry, that can be tough too. The other one that I want to talk to, not to go too far deep, but the last point is when we're doing these buffets, for example, and everybody's I'm always thinking everybody's grabbing like the same utensil or digging in. Important to have utensils, not digging into a bowl of chips or whatever, or even if you're doing a bread basket, perhaps tongs, like the little things like that. Do you think that matters, or is it just overkill?
Oh, absolutely, especially with a larger gathering. I mean, we recognize and know that the larger the gathering and the more people densely populated in an area, the higher risk that something could be spread. So not only using utensils, but also maybe having a little bottle of Purell at the start of the buffet line and kind of gently asking that everyone engage in using that before they go through the buffet line to use those utensils.
No shame in my game. I'll put it right on that counter.
There you go.
If we run out, there's more. Talk a little bit about, I don't want to, take too much of your time, but you touched on something that I'd like to expound on. You talked about diet and, of course, exercise. It's so hard to get it. We have a beautiful day here, like you probably do in northern Illinois. Important to stay active, but also for boosting our immune system. This is that time of year when you've got the Christmas cookies and you've got all the fun things. What are some things that we can incorporate into our diet to help boost our immunity? I mean, can we do that to ward off some of these sniffles?
Sure, it's a great question. I think some of the most important things to incorporate, which are sometimes the hardest, would certainly be vegetables first and foremost, as well as fruits, both of which have lots of antioxidants, your vitamins, your minerals that you need. Some people will choose to take an extra supplement like vitamin C, for example, over the course of the fall, winter, and kind of into the early spring. And even in some instances where we have less of this kind of sunlight throughout the day, if you've come to find that you have a low vitamin D level, maybe you've been checked by your provider in recent years or months, doing a little extra supplement of vitamin D over the winter months can be really helpful as well, help with your energy level and help decrease risk of things like fatigue and that kind of sluggishness that can seep in over those winter months.
Yeah, that's a really good a point. And, when you talk about supplements, you always see these things, elderberry and some of these things on the counter. And I guess it's like chicken soup, right? It can't hurt.
Yeah, there you go.
Any other tips that you can give us? I mean, we talked about the diet, the exercise, the variety now, who knew of the flu shots. And, if you do go in and you are feeling sick, I know back in the day, Tamiflu was one of them. Is that still an option for some people?
Correct. So that's that kind of conversation of get in within 48 hours if you're interested in the antiviral treatment. And so making sure that that time frame is really adhered to is important, because if you take the medication after the fact, you're really taking it for no great reason. It's really not going to help. And the key is starting early in the course of your illness. And again, that's why kind of finding the easiest on-ramp to an on-demand experience. Where can you get in same day within a couple hours, bare minimum, so that you can get that treatment plan started.
Things. Anything else that you want to leave us with? You've just given us like a smorgasbord of health tips.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is, to your point, I love how you opened up by saying the weather looks beautiful, but let's not forget the fact that flu is around the corner, and it's more than around the corner. So everyone just be ready and be prepared and do your best to kind of use all these tips and hints that we talked about today. I'm a huge advocate for vaccines. To your point, it is a personal decision, but just recognizing that there are a lot of things we can do to protect ourselves this season.
Yeah, and for the people around us as well, like as you said, older parents or people who've got, compromised immune systems. So, boy, this was wonderful. I took notes. Dr. Andrea Galmava, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Happy holidays to you. We hope to see you back here on our Fox local channel. You have been a real joy to get to know and given us some great advice. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you. Well, that was wonderful. I hope that you guys were as inspired as I was, and that was really beneficial knowledge. That was great. We are off and running. Speaking of off and running, I was keeping our eye here on the Blue Origins. It looks as though that rocket launch is getting ready to take place. It's really fascinating to watch it, isn't it? We're going to pull that up for you right now. I'm just going to turn around behind me because we had it here. There was some activity going on, and now it looks like it's a little bit quieter for some reason. These things, they can kind of go back and forth, and it's just hard to say what's going to happen with those. But it's interesting. We're going to just keep our eye on that, of course, and keep things going. I'm just bringing in Delaney right now because, Delaney, you've been watching this. We got to bring Delaney in on every show. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. Everybody's excited to see Delaney. What's happening? What's shaking? This Blue Origins launch, I keep watching it right now. They had a little bit of, I saw the flames and a little bit of gas, and then all of a sudden it went quiet again.
Yeah, it was looking really active a couple minutes ago, so I don't know. It might be done now. I'm not sure.
Oh boy, I hope we didn't miss that. Yeah, it's
I
kind
know.
of. I'm looking at a black screen. That's why I didn't pull it up for people. But it's just exciting to see there. Should we just give people a little quick peek right now?
Yeah, let's see what's going on.
Yeah, just kind of quiet at this point. It's just fascinating to see what they can do, and I think we have all dreamed at some point of being launched from a rocket into some type of outer space right now. But it's it's quiet right now, and we can see that. Oh, there we go. That's what we had seen, just a little bit of the launch. I think we missed that initial launch, but just to kind of see the flames and that captivity. You know what this reminds me of, everybody, are the northern lights that we've been seeing. So fascinating to see the different colors and the varieties, and yeah, that's really captivating to see what they can do there. We're going to keep an eye on that and check out any movement and bring that to you as it develops. But in the meantime, we're going to take a quick break here on Fox Local and come back with some happenings around southeastern Wisconsin, because as I look at this weather, it is jaw-dropping. Let's just take a moment. We're going to talk about how to get out and about this weekend, things to do before we kind of go back into those 40s. But look at tomorrow, 60 degrees, mostly sunny, and it looks as though we get a lot of sun as well for Saturday. So your weekend plans are on. Even Sunday, little cooler, and a lot of people love the cool, chilly weather. In fact, we got a note from a viewer yesterday saying, you guys keep talking about the warm-up. I like the chill. So yeah, keep it going. Great for hot cider, coffee, whatever. Tuesday, we have a little chance to rain, but even on Wednesday, we're still in the 40s, which is about this average from this time of year, according to our weather experts. So we want to tell you how to get out and about this weekend. We're going to take a quick break and come back with much more on Fox Local. Glad to have you with us this afternoon. We'll be right back.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back, everybody. Mary Stoker-Smith with you on this Thursday afternoon. Are you excited for the weekend? After the forecast I just showed you, hopefully that you are. Oh, there's a lot going on in terms of celebration. It's just a beautiful, beautiful day out there. Government reopening, things getting back to normal slowly but surely. It certainly is going to take some time. So coming up tonight on 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10 on Fox 6 right here, we're going to talk about the gradual reopening in terms of getting things back to normal. Our Real Preciado is going to be talking about the SNAP benefits that are now going to be happening again in full and the slow dispersion, like of how things get back to normal. She's going to talk to food pantries. So many people relying on food pantries, food drives, community organizations to get food on the table, particularly with the upcoming holidays. So she's going to give us a status update on that. And you also will get an update on when you can receive those benefits again. What does this mean for people who had to go to work and didn't get paid? When that may be happening? How soon could those paychecks be coming? So again, we have that covered for you all evening long. Another big story that we've been following, of course, we told you about this last night. And as we talk about this story, I'm just going to give you kind of a live look outside right now because it's we can't get camera there or Waukesha, but one of the things we do want to talk about is the school district of Waukesha. As you know, closing those 2 schools. We had this last night as breaking news, and it's going to be kind of a matter of phases that Bethesda Elementary and Hawthorne Elementary will be closing. We talked a little bit about this last night. A lot of you have been going to our website to get information. And we had Bowen talking about this on our morning show, of course. And so, as you may know, if you don't know, I'll bring you up to speed. Last night, Wednesday, the Board of Education moved forward with the proposal of the district talking about their plan to optimize the future and basically declining the infrastructure because of declining enrollment. And so because of the declining enrollment, they have voted to close these 2 schools. It's not like most things going to happen overnight. There's going to be a phase 1, and that's going to be information sharing where their parents or anybody in the community can attend about information about this. And then they're also going to be gathering input at some point, again, in the that's what happened in April and May, rather. And then they're still gathering input, and there's going to be presenting a recommendation going on this month and next month. And that'll be all the suggestions brought forward to the Board of Education where they can figure out exactly what to do and how to do this effectively and, of course, cost effectively. So among the 10 largest school districts in Wisconsin, Waukesha really has achieved very high standards with their students, but a lot of people wondering, okay, what happens now? So Brett Lemoyne is covering different aspects of that. He's going to be talking tonight about exactly what to do to let parents know which schools will close soon and the fact that there could be more cuts on the way. He talked to parents at Bethesda. So tonight he's going to have a sit-down interview with the superintendent there to talk about some of the parents who are not real pleased about that and some wondering about, is this just the beginning? Could there be more closures? So we're looking forward to Brett's report on what exactly could be happening there. So we also, again, are going to keep our eye on the government shutdown, reopening the government, getting checks to people, and of course all of the food banks as we take a live look over our city right now. A lot of you in the city of Milwaukee, SNAP benefit recipients and people going to food banks, going to food drives, wondering what is going to happen, where could we be going next? So we're giving you a live look right now because there's not a whole lot going on right now. It is quiet this Thursday afternoon. Weather is certainly not playing a role as we take a look kind of around robin at some of our cameras overlooking our beautiful, beautiful city. This is a day shot, of course, because we are at 3:17 on this Thursday, but last night a lot of you were able to look out and with clear sky see those northern lights. Weren't they gorgeous? We got quite a light show of greens and purples and pinks. Really, really gorgeous out there. So that was just a treat to the eyes. We appreciate all the pictures that you sent in and keep those coming. We always want those on Fox Local and of course on our website because we love to show those pictures for everybody. as well as the rest of the weekend. There's a lot to get to in terms of, for holidays, the travel. We want to talk a little bit about when we come back, when is the best time to travel if you are thinking about getting out and about. We're going to have a travel expert on next week to remind people about the holiday travel, because then it'll officially be a week away. But it is projected, at least according to AAA, to be one of the busiest Thanksgiving travel times of the year. When do you hit the road? When can you expect congestion? And as you know, we got a lot of construction going on in southeastern Wisconsin. So what roads to avoid? What'll get you the clear pass? And of course, the all-important question, flight delays and cancellations. Even though the government is back open now, as of last night, when we heard that proclamation from President Donald Trump, he signed the papers, we still have kind of a backlog. Air traffic controllers, airports still dealing with cancellations in flights out at Mitchell International Airport. We'll take a look at that when we come back. And also, of course, in the days ahead for people to know, am I going to get out? Can I get on the plane? We'll let you know. We're going to take a quick break and come right back here on Fox Local. Keep it right here. We'll be right back.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Great to have you with us this afternoon. As you know, last night ended the longest government shutdown in history. We brought it to you as breaking news at 10 o'clock of the government is now officially reopened. Good news is the government is reopened. The concerning news is things are going to take a while to get back to normal, and I know a lot of you are wondering about that. We have been getting some press briefings there from the White House. We will try to bring you those as soon as they become available, because just like, you know, anything, the minute that we get back, everybody walked away from the mic. One thing that we do know, of course, going on was that Blue Origin launch, and right now we have a reporter there on scene who's giving us a big smile right now, giving us some of the highlights of that rocket launch that we brought you when I first joined you at 2:30. Let's give that a listen, and then we're going to come back and give you a look at Mitchell International, because again, with the government shutdown being over and things reopening, there still could be delays and cancellations at the airport. We're going to get a quick check of those, bring you those in just a moment. But for right now, let's talk a little bit about the Blue Origin's launch, and it seemingly went ahead without any problems at all. Let's give a listen right now as one of the reporters there talks about this significant day for them.
She just thinks that our rocket launches and lands.
Oh yeah, that's all she's ever known.
That's all she has ever known. So to be able to show her this live,
Now passing 30 minutes
I'm
into flight.
super proud of being part of this team. I always have, and today is an extraordinary highlight. Eddie, you've been here along with me for 11 years. How do you feel?
Well, no, congratulations. I mean, as you were talking about earlier, how we were sitting in the back porch of Mission Control in West Texas 10 years ago, almost to the day, and how far you've come. You know, your girls are looking at you. That's your rocket that landed today. That's all our rockets, but a special congratulations
our rocket,
to you.
that's right.
No, there's so many reflections that, you know, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, you're right. You know, it's our rocket. It's such something that just brings our team together. I know we can't turn the camera around. I can't imagine why. But how are those celebrations still looking? How many people would you imagine are up there with you?
Well, we were 500 plus strong, more or less, throughout the whole party. And the energy never abated. Through the first go-no-go poll for terminal count, up to the first 20-second countdown, and in the recycle, the spirits were high.
Eddie, the spirits are high, and they're going to continue. I can't wait to talk to you after this webcast, give you a high five, but you're looking at a live look. This is Escapade in space, the twin spacecrafts that will be heading to Mars in 2027. For the first time ever, 2 spacecrafts at the same time are going to be studying the red planet. And also, for the first time ever, we're able to send this in kind of this in-between period. We didn't have to hit that exact Mars window because they're going to make their way to Mars on the right trajectory. And this is something completely unique for NASA and for us here at Blue Origin. Again, there's a live look at the Jacqueline, the booster. So aptly named, never tell me the odds, sitting so perfectly on that feather, unlike anything we've ever seen. And in the next minute here, you are going to see those payloads deploy. What a moment.
Hopefully we'll get that.
What a moment indeed. Boy, that Blue Origin launch, that was just dynamic, went off without a hitch. They're going to be studying Mars, as you heard there, looking at the red planet, and so much of that is so important to us here on planet Earth. So just really remarkable to see, and hopefully inspiring to all the kids out there who want to be an astronaut, get up in space. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Speaking of flying and taking off, let's give you a look right now at Mitchell International Airport. We just went to FlightAware, as I promised, because again, government is reopened, as you know, officially, but there could still be some side effects, and one of those big ones, one of the big hits, if you will, from the government shutdown was with air traffic control. So as of right now, as we look at Mitchell, according to FlightAware, the total delays today at Mitchell, 15 delays so far, and there were 12 cancellations, 12 canceled flights out of Mitchell International today. You certainly, in the next couple days, need to check with your airline, go to the apps, and make sure that your flight, if you are flying or greeting somebody, will be on time. hard to say how this will trickle out, but hopefully things will be resuming as normal. It hasn't been terrible, as bad as it is with some of their airports around the country. We have a great airport, don't we, Mitchell International? But again, keep your eye on that as the weekend goes on, until things get a little bit smoother. And of course, the volume of people traveling in the next couple of weeks will only increase, so we'll continue to bring you updates there. It's been a pleasure to be with you this afternoon. Delaney, I'm going to bring you up to say goodbye. We don't usually do that, but it's going to be such a beautiful weekend. Do you have plans?
Not yet, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of a nice quiet weekend because the next couple are going to be berserk. So I'm hoping to just lay low for a while and take in this great weather that we're going to have. No problems whatsoever here in southeastern Wisconsin. Aren't we lucky? Leaving's still on the tree.
I'm excited about the weather.
Yeah, I know. And pumpkin spice lattes, all the good stuff. I did a cold brew today in honor of the warmth in the air. Certainly won't be like that for long, of course, but you never know.
It's nice while we have it, though.
Nice while we have it, yeah. Well, it's been so nice to have you with us. Come back next week. We're going to have some Thanksgiving tips experts, and we're going to talk about Thanksgiving travel. For right now, I'm Mary Stoker-Smith signing off on this Thursday afternoon. We'll see you tonight at 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. Until then, have a great rest of your day. See you soon.
Chief, Acting Chief.
Thank you.
Shortly before noon today, the Oakland Police Department received calls and reports of shots being fired in and around Delaney College campus. Officers arrived on scene, located a victim suffering from a gunshot wound. He was immediately transported to a local hospital where he's currently being treated. I know that there was some concern that this may have been an active shooter. We responded as if it was an active shooter. I can tell you right now it was not an active shooter. We're currently asking the public's help in locating a suspect, or potential suspect in this case. It's a male unknown race, wearing all dark clothing and a black hoodie that fled the scene. Should anyone have any information about that individual or what occurred today on campus, please give us a call at 510-238-3821.
Have time for a few questions, guys.
Do we know the relationship with the suspect and the victim, and who was the victim across the football field?
So it's actively a current investigation right now. We do have investigators on scene as well as crime scene technicians, and we're interviewing people. So I can't get into the details of the investigation or where we're at right now specifically about that.
Was the person shot an employee of the district?
I can just tell you that the victim was located on campus, but I'm not going to elaborate on their employment status or their identity.
Do we know if the suspect involved, there was any type of altercation before the shooting happened, or was this kind of, it just happened?
So that's something that we still have to kind of work through. We are interviewing witnesses. We're looking at surveillance footage, and we're going to leverage some technology on that piece to kind of get to there.
No word on how long he had been on campus, though?
No, we're still looking at that as well.
Are you able to discern or say right now it looks to be a targeted as opposed to a random?
Again, it's an active investigation. I don't want to taint the investigation or jeopardize it in any way. Currently, we are interviewing people that are on scene, and there's going to be additional interviews that are going to be taking place here shortly.